Okay. All right. All right, the time is 6:40, and we're calling this meeting to order. Thank you, District 28 the Great, and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Holidays to everyone. And thank you for coming on the first day back from such an amazing holiday to our meeting tonight. We have a lot to go over, and I'm looking forward to just, being here to support and advocate with all my council members for you families. Because even though we all could have been home in the warmness of our homes with our families, on the first day of school, we decided to be here because there's nothing more important than what we do here. And tonight, I know we have Superintendent Dr. Blake. Are you ready?
Do we need to do a roll call?
Oh, before we even get to there, Superintendent Dr. Blake, I'd like to do roll call. Latifah.
First Vice President Quinton Madison.
Here.
Second Vice President Utah Chen.
Here.
Recording Secretary Latifah Lewis. Here. Treasurer Tanya Went. Tanya on.
Okay.
Is she? Yeah. You
Here.
need to put up the volume, Utah. Treasurer Tanya Went.
Here. Can you hear me?
Member Julissa.
Here.
Member Luzal.
Here.
Member Noon Swapna. Absent. Member GK Kalyanaram.
Yes, here.
Member Paquita Williams.
Here.
Member Simone Donbach.
Here.
Member Simone Donbach.
Here.
I saw her respond, but member Lauren Clavin.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm here. Sorry, I wasn't able to unmute
Can our
myself. But
Our Spanish interpreters, please just give instructions in Spanish and then put it in the chat and just update it every 20 minutes.
No problem. I'll go ahead and start. Para las personas que les gustaría escuchar esta reunión en español, vamos a dejar la información en el chat. Favor de por favor marcar el número de teléfono 347-966-4114. Luego ingresa el número de ID o de PIN 866-892-972 más el signo del número. Repito, para escuchar esta conferencia en español, por favor marque el número de teléfono 347-966-4114 y luego ingrese el ID o número 866-892-972 más el signo del número. Por favor, mantenga su teléfono en silencio para no interrumpir la interpretación y baja el volumen de su computador. Spanish interpretation introduction complete.
Thank you. All right, as many of you know who were here last meeting, our president last year, Vijay Ramjatan, has resigned. There was nothing illegal, nothing in the news. He just resigned for his own reasons, and because of that resignation, our first part of business today will be electing another president. So before we start off the rest of our agenda, we will be starting our election process. And do we have a pro temp?
So I need to read this.
Which part?
And once you get here.
I start here.
You
So
read
start
from
here.
And then take it.
All right. It is now time, and this meeting of Community Education Council will come to order. My name is Quentin Meston, and I'm convening the annual meeting for the purpose of electing officers.
You could.
Article 2, Section 2 of the council's bylaws requires that officers be elected by roll call vote at the annual meeting. To be elected, a candidate must have at least 7 votes. Officers remain in position until their successors have been elected. The first order of business is to elect a chair pro temp to chair the election meeting until the president has been elected. The chair pro tem must be someone who is not running for office in the election she or he is chairing. Since the first election is for president, the chair pro tem cannot run for president. Once the president is elected, he or she can take over running the election from the chair pro tem. Are there any nominations for chair pro tem?
I self-nominate for pro tem.
Second? Awesome. So nominations for chair pro tem are now closed, and we will proceed to vote for president. Sure. Gotcha. All right, congratulations, Natifa. You have been selected to serve as chair pro tem and will conduct the election of officers for 2023, 2020. Yes.
All right, good evening again, everyone. To elect officers, we will vote upon each position before moving on to the next, that any candidate not elected to an office can run for others. Currently, we only have an opening for the president. I will take nominations. Members can nominate themselves. If a member is nominated by another member, I will confirm that he or she accepts the nominations. Nominations do not need to be seconded. If a member is not present but has submitted his or her name in writing to the AA or another member, he or she will be treated the same as any member who is present, including having a 2-minute statement read aloud by someone else. Each nominee will be allowed to make a speech of up to 2 minutes. Following the candidate's presentation, we will conduct a roll call vote. All positions must be voted on, even if there is only one candidate. Where there are 2 or more candidates, each member must make a choice and vote for one or the other. For example, if John Doe and Jane Smith are running for president, on the roll call, each member will vote for either John or Jane. The council must not vote first on John, then on Jane. Members may also abstain from voting. If no candidate receives at least 7 votes, we will vote by show of hands on whether to do a second round or proceed to the elections for the next office. In this case, we are, at that point, we would have to decide whether we are doing another round, as currently our only vacancy is for president. If a position remains unfilled over 2 or more rounds of voting, the incumbent will continue in the position. New elections for all unfilled positions must be put on the agenda for the following month's meeting until all positions are filled. Is the procedure clear to all members? We will now elect council president. Are there any nominations for the office of president?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Are there any nominations for the office of president?
For president?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to nominate, Mr. Quinton for the president, right? That's you, right? Just you.
Quentin, do you accept?
I accept the nomination.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any other nominations for the office of president? Okay, nominations for the office of president are now closed. I will now call each candidate in alphabetical order. There's only one, to make a statement of up to 2 minutes. Our AA will be the timekeeper. After the candidate has spoken, we will proceed with a roll call vote. Quentin, you can now speak for 2 minutes. Dorinda, are you able to do the timekeeping? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Utah, you need to have it.
Right. District 28, it's an honor to sit here right now tonight as a nominee for the role of president of this district. Over the years, I've served the district as your first vice president, as a D75 rep, and as a relentless advocate for equity in education. I've worked tirelessly to ensure that every student, especially those with special needs, have the resources and opportunities they deserve to thrive. I fought for the class size committee, advocated for the funding our students require, and brought attention to the challenges faced by D75 and special needs communities. These aren't just policies to me, they're personal. As a father of 6 children, I understand the transformative power of education, not just for individuals, but for families and communities. Leadership is more than just holding this title. It's about service, accountability, and action. It's about rolling up your sleeves, listening to diverse voices, and working together to deliver results. That is what I bring to this table. As president, I will ensure that our district continues to break barriers, embrace innovation, and work collaboratively to uplift all of our students, parents, and educators. Together, we will create a future where every child, regardless of ability, background, or zip code, has the opportunity to succeed. I'm humbled again by this opportunity and excited about what we can achieve together. Let's keep District 28 the greatest and even greater. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Quentin. Right now, we will proceed with a roll call vote. Since there's only one candidate. I'm sorry? Did you have a question? Okay. Since there is only one candidate, you can vote by saying yes or no for Quentin to serve in the position of president. First Vice President, Quentin Meserton,
Yes.
Second Vice President, Utah Chen,
Yes.
Recording Secretary, Natifa Lewis, yes. Treasurer, Tanya Went,
Yes.
Member Julissa, yes. Member Luzao,
Yeah.
Member Nurun Swapna, absent. Member GK Kalyanara,
Yes.
Member Paquita Williams,
Yes.
Member Simone Donbach,
Yes.
Member Lauren Clavin. Yes. Okay. Congratulations, Quentin. You have been elected to serve as council president for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year.
Thank you.
At this point, you have the option of either taking over to now, because since the president was a serving officer, we now have a vacancy for the first vice president of the council. You have the option of either taking over to do that election, or I can continue as pro tem.
I'll take over.
Okay, so thank you. I am now turning the rest of the elections to our new president, Quentin Meserton.
Thank you. Prateep.
So you just go back to, you just ask the nominations. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And now, again, thank you, council members. For our next position, first vice president, do we have any nominations?
I would like to nominate.
Who was that?
Lauren.
Okay.
All right, we have, okay. So we have nomination for Lauren Clavin and GK.
Ask each of them.
Lauren,
What you think about?
you self-nominate,
I
yes.
think it's kicking back or something.
Okay, yeah.
Something is going on.
Keep it down. Yeah, keep it down.
We need it a little bit though, because we have members who are there.
I'm just letting everybody say it, that's all right.
All right, GK, do you accept your nomination?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get 2 minutes. All right. So I'm going to call now each candidate in alphabetical order to make a statement of up to 2 minutes. And then after that, we'll proceed with a roll call vote. So, GK. And Dorinda, do you have the timer?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Gurumurthy Kalyanram, GK. I've been on this council since July, not quite, since September of 2023. I didn't get elected in the regular elections, and then I was appointed in place of vacancy to this council. For the last year and a half, I've been part of this council. We have 6 more months of this term. I would love to contribute to the democratization of quality education, which is a passion. I'm myself an educator, a professor, and this is my passion. And I thought I'll contribute in an officer capacity for the 6 months, maybe bring in speakers, help the council, help all of you in the best manner that I know and I can with respect to policy issues, execution issues, and larger principal issues. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, GK. And next we have candidate Lauren.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for considering my bid to serve as first vice president of our council. I first began attending CEC meetings in 2020 when my oldest child entered kindergarten, and I was honored to be appointed to the council last year by the borough president. I was born and raised in Queens, and I'm a proud product of our public schools, starting from kindergarten all the way through CUNY. So it's very special to me to be able to give back to the system that's given me so much. I've always been active in my community, but I think as a lot of us understand, having my children motivated me to work even harder to make things better for all of our kids. When I became a foster parent, I understood that there's no such thing as other people's children. We belong to each other, and the success of all of our children is the business of all of us. That understanding is what motivates me in this work. Being a parent also became a crash course in navigating the early intervention and IEP process and illuminated the gaps and inequities in our education system. It taught me the value of simply accessing information. And all that I've wanted to do since then is help other parents access the resources they need to help their children thrive. That's why I'm here. I'm asking for your trust to continue this important work, but now in a larger role, one where I can help lead us into the future of education in our community. We may not always agree, but I see that as an asset. I've learned so much from all of you as you share your wisdom and your diverse perspectives in this space, and I look forward to continuing to grow and learn together. As a community organizer, I've dedicated myself to advocating for fully funded and equitable education for every student in every neighborhood with curriculum and resources that reflect the diversity and needs of our communities. I believe every child deserves an education that not only challenges them, but also honors where they come from and the unique gifts that they bring to our schools. As first vice president, I hope to continue to work alongside you all to champion policies that prioritize equity, support our teachers, and protect our public schools. I believe in the power of public education to change lives, and I'm committed to making sure every child has the opportunity to succeed. Thank you, and I look forward to continuing to work with you all.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. Okay. Back. We'll start with our roll call vote.
At this point, we will conduct a roll call vote for the president for the position of, sorry, you're, okay, yeah, I'm doing the vote. Treasurer Tanya Went. In this case, since there are 2 candidates, when voting, you need to specify the name of the candidate that you are voting for. So you either say GK or Lauren. So, Treasurer Tanya Went.
Lauren.
Recording Secretary Natifa Lewis. GK. Member I'll call the president last. Member Julissa,
Lauren.
member Luzao, member Nurun Swapna, absent. Member GK Kalyanara,
GK?
member Paquita Williams,
Lauren.
member Simone Dunbar,
Lauren.
member Lauren Clavin, member President, sorry, I skipped you, Utah. Second Vice President, Utah Chen.
JK.
President Quentin Mezzatine.
Lauren.
Okay, at this point, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 votes for Lauren and 4 for GK. As stated in the election process at this point, since we do not have a majority, we can put a roll call vote. I'm sorry, we can put a vote to re-elect the position or to table it for the next meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to re-elect the position, to re-vote on the position? Yeah, with, okay, as I said, if a council fails to elect the position, just want to make sure I use the correct words. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion to vote again for the first vice president? Okay, I make a motion to vote again for the first vice president office. Is there a second?
I make a motion to table it.
To the following meeting?
Yeah, only because we have so many members. Like we have a member that's not here. We have a vacancy. I think it'll be hard. But
We're one part all, yes, so, I mean, I,
believe it would be a
in
different vote
expediency,
right now.
yes,
Okay, let's see. Let's try it out.
okay, so is there someone who seconds my motion
I'll second
to run the elections
Second.
again? Okay, Quentin seconds, okay, so please go ahead.
All right, we're going to try this one more time tonight. Tifa, if you can do another vote for the first VP.
Okay, first to the candidates, are both candidates, both candidates maintain their nomination?
I withdraw.
Okay, GK has withdrawn. So currently we have one nomination for first vice president, Lauren. She already made her speech. We have a roll call vote. Second vice president, Utah Chen.
Yes.
Treasurer Tanya Went.
Lauren.
Since there's one candidate at this point, you can just vote yes or no.
Sorry. Yes.
Okay, recording secretary, Natifa Lewis, yes. Member Julissa,
Yes.
member Luzao, member Nurun Swapna, absent. Member GK Kalyanara,
Yes.
member Paquita Williams, member Simone Dunbar,
Yes.
member Lauren Clavin, President Quentin Mezzatine.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Lauren. You are the new vice president for CEC28 for the remainder of the 2024-2025 year.
Okay, now that we got that business out of the way, congratulations, Lauren.
Congratulations, Gwen.
Thank you. We will now turn this over to our esteemed Superintendent, Dr. Blake. Please start the new year for us.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2024-25 school year. In fact, welcome to a brand new school year, which is 2025, and District 28 is off and running. Just want to say welcome back to students, families, and the entire school community of District 28. And I would have hoped that you had a wonderful holiday break and you're ready to embark on an exciting new year with new journeys, new opportunities. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all the very best for 2025 and beyond. One which is hope will be filled with joy, growth, and success. So together, let's make this an exciting and amazing time working together. Also, what's going on here? All right, so this is our mission, of course. Our mission for District 28 remains very steadfast to be a community for change, where we emphasize the achievement of every single scholar in the district. We are a district of excellence. We commit to every school maintaining high academic standards and working closely with families to achieve that feat. Just wanted to go over with the community, some of the new chancellor's updates around New York City Reads. We know that we're pushing reading across the entire district, across the city. Implementing a new curriculum is very challenging, and we appreciate our school leaders and teachers' efforts. And based on the feedback, we are updating policies on pace and flexibility assessments and professional learning, categorized into 5 key areas that the chancellor mentioned. Acknowledgement of efforts, recognizing the significant efforts of every school, the leaders and teachers in implementing a new curriculum is not an easy feat. We looked at the policy updates, updating policies based on feedback to address pacing, flexibility assessment processes, and professional learning. And under pacing flexibility, we're allowing up to 2 weeks of flexibility in pacing to meet students' unique needs while maintaining curriculum alignment. What that means is that the curriculum, we're not looking at the rigidity of the curriculum, we're giving time to teachers and space for those students to learn and to be a part of the curriculum. So we're looking at streamlining assessments and also looking at instructional prioritization, giving teachers time to really prioritize the classroom instruction and small group activities. So those are some of the priorities the chancellor mentions. And just to continue on that, what does that mean? We're expanding professional learning for all involved in New York City Reads. Targeted strategies such as professional learning will focus on practical strategies, using existing curricular tools, supporting all in the system, right? Training will support superintendents all the way to district teams, school leaders, and teachers to meet diverse student needs. And we're looking at resource identification, which is emphasizing, or emphasis will be placed on identifying and using embedded curriculum resources. And of course, everything is driven by data, the feedback. And our shared goal is to enable all our students to graduate as proficient readers and learners, providing clarity to districts and educators. So that is what she mentioned. But I just want to speak to the parents. That is what the chancellor is saying. What I'm saying is that the power of reading and looking at some of the strategies that the families could implement from home. Reading offers a variety of benefits, including reducing stress. We know that research shows improving memory, increasing empathy, enhancing vocabulary, boosting focus and concentration. Reading also helps in improving sleep quality. The research shows expanding knowledge and potentially contributing to a longer life by preventing cognitive decline as you age. So some of these are the strategies that I would love for the families to do. We know we do that in our schools, our principals and teachers can attest to that. Model reading behavior. These are the days where our students or youngsters are taken up with 2 electronic gadgets, right, with TikTok and all of those, to the exclusion where we're not seeing reading being modeled. So we have to show your child, parents, as families, how that you enjoy reading by reading yourself in front of them, right? They have to see you to learn from you. Read aloud regularly to your students. Make reading a daily routine. If the child can read independently, as it helps with the comprehension and exposure to different writing styles, ask questions about the text, right? Don't be a passive reader. Discuss vocabulary words, practice shared reading, encourage independent reading. So all those are some of the strategies I'm saying that can be done at home to reinforce what's been done in the school. Choose engaging books or text for the child, right? And parents, be patient and supportive. We have to celebrate small achievements and provide positive feedback to keep your child motivated. So this is from the resource for parent strategies for improving their child's reading and writing. Your children, we have more than one, but we are encouraging you to do this at home as well. Simplifying the data, that's some of the other things that we're doing as a district. And very, very important is attendance. Last year, we boasted a very good attendance ratio of where we went from 89, I think, to 90.7. And this year, we are looking at really trying to gain 92.7%, excluding students or long-term international travelers. So by June 2024, we will reduce overall chronic absenteeism by 10% of overall CAS by year 23-24 from 35% to 31%. So we're trying to keep the numbers down. Where are we now? As I said, in 12-20, the picture was taking a snapshot. Our year-to-date overall attendance is 92.1% versus 90.7% citywide. So we're above the city. Versus 91.5 last year at this stage, we were at 91.5, we're at now 92.1, showing an increase overall. But I'm saying that we have to encourage our youngsters to be in schools. We know that different families face different situations, especially those in, like insecure homes. We are trying our very best to let the kids come to school so we could have them start with breakfast. The whole idea about Maslow taking care of the child's physiological needs before you could go to Bloom about learning, because a child cannot learn on hungry stomach, as it were. All right, so the district last year, I just want to congratulate these principals again. Principals reached significant milestones, and those two, Nicholas Forza and Principal Lokadama, they earned tenure. I was, giving them the recognition and shout out, because we have to stabilize our leaders so that they could remain in the system. At District 28, we really want to highlight and have great principals, great leaders, great schools. This is also the Murray Magnet School, PS55. I'd like to shout them out for special thanks to the principal, honorary, and the wonderful students of PS55 for the incredible facilitation at our last principals conference around SEL, social emotional practices. That was well received. So our students, younger ones, are also teaching the adults as well. We believe in that. At this time, I'd like to congratulate the following schools for receiving the City Council funding for the arts. As a former principal, I really emphasize the arts, and I'm bringing that already again into District 28. So they have received over $16,000. It's not a lot, but it's a good way of moving forward to underscore our interest as a district in the arts. PS50, PS55, 82, 86, PS99, 117, PS174, PS175, PS220, PS349, and PS354. And the list will continue because we're continually fighting to see how we could get more grants and funding for, for students and for the school, the community. Also, to shout out this school PS174 for the establishment of the UFT Teacher Center. Bruce Zayal, who's on, we did a collaboration. That's me right there doing the ribbon cutting. And what the Teacher Center does is provide resources for the teachers in the school so we could help our youngsters. And finally, we had a great profile for District 28. We were on the NBC's Today Show featuring PS 175, the Briarwood School, Principal Van Gunten. And I think I'd like to play a little snippet of this if it works. Maybe they won't be able to, but I would really love to show you this. They were showcased by NBC Today Show about kindnesses and the initiatives around giving. this incredible work of the students at PS 117 and shows the leadership of the school was truly inspiring and really keep, we really want to encourage them to keep up this amazing work. But I just want to say that this cannot be done in isolation. We emphasize teamwork in District 28. And as long as I'm at the helm, it's about leading and be the best example we can be for youngest scholar in the district. Both the south side, the north side, we're one district, one aim, one mission. I just want to put a special welcome back to all the families, the students at school today, the principals, leaders. I just want to say welcome back. And we're going from strength to strength, upward, onward, ever higher. That's my mantra for District 28. Thank you very much. And definitely I'll be open to questions later on. So I want to thank you very much. Dr. Benoit, if you could show the video, that would be nice. If not, then maybe another time. Thank you very much. Quinton, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Superintendent Dr. Blake, for that amazing message. And we definitely share the passion you have for our district. Lou and Julie, can you guys handle the speaker list? And Lauren, you could kind of give us an update of our speaking etiquette in the chat. Oh, yeah. Dr. Benoit, did you want to share that video?
I think Lauren's asking if what's the script for the speaker? Yeah,
Okay.
is that ready?
I'll get that for you. Dr. Benoit is just going to follow up with the video that Superintendent Dr. Blake was talking about.
Thank you.
Can you try again?
.117 in Queens, New York.
Student government is still collecting new unwrapped toys for our new toy drive.
Starting with Kindness Radio.
Can you hear it?
It's cool to be kind is the school motto, and these pre-K through 5th grade students are living up to it. The hallways are filled with artwork, kindness boxes, and peace warriors. For these students, kindness means giving back to the community.
Do you have any toys for the toy drive?
They are hard at work collecting toys for their holiday toy drive.
Merry Christmas!
Usually kids want for this time of year, but our kids are set on giving.
Keisha White, the school counselor, motivates and energizing the students with daily dance parties.
The energy of my school, it is lit!
Who's gonna be kind today?
A lot of our students come from really, really rough backgrounds. And when they come here, we teach them consistency with kindness. We see it pay off. What makes me so proud of these kids is their genuine love for one another.
And I got to see the love firsthand.
I am so blown away by how awesome your school is. And you know why your school's so awesome?
Because we always use kindness. Kindness is the most important thing.
School is like your second home, and our objective is to make you feel at home.
You made me feel at home. I walked in and I felt it right away. You guys lead with kindness.
I noticed that when I do something kind, it's a chain reaction.
You guys are also helping out during this holiday season for kids who need toys.
My parents have done many things for me. I'm very grateful for them and the toy drive that could make a better community for future generations.
At PS 117, the teachers give too. This is a Title I school and receives federal funding to help students from low-income families. Many of the school staff contribute out of their own pockets to provide winter coats for students and families.
Our faculty gives because they want to. Whenever I've asked for anything, they not only give, but then they even say, how else can I help?
You could say the spirit of giving is contagious here.
We're going to go check out your toys. Now, how many did you collect today?
About 20
20 today. I want to just check out your 20. Is that all right?
But little do they know, it's about to kick into high gear.
Oh my gosh!
This
Macy's and Toys R Us donated 2,000 toys. And to help fund your efforts, they're giving the school $5,000. I hear you guys have something called Kindness Radio.
Yeah!
Can we check that out? Yeah! Kindness Radio. Kindness Radio. She's doing it. Yep. Hi, everybody. This is Hoda Kotb from the Today Show. I'm at PS 117. Can all students please report to the auditorium? Let's go to the auditorium.
Hundreds of students are gathered for our special assembly.
This is a celebration for you. What's the motto of your school? You're doing so many things to help other people. So you know what I was thinking about? Maybe it's time to help you. Are you ready? Macy's and Toys R Us pitched in together to make sure that each one of you gets their very own gift.
A joyous day celebrating the spirit of the season. Come on. How about
That's
that
what
school?
it's all about.
It is. That school, and I have to say, they were equally as excited when they got their toy as when they showed all the toys that were going to other kids. There were kids crying.
Right.
They were so happy
So
to
I think
get
$1 million each.
How did that? Yes.
It's so
it
cool.
was so cool. Anyway, and every kid loved what they got, and it was just special.
And that woman there?
And Keisha, by the way, she's next level. She sings for the kids and has them all dance. She used to be a backup singer for Mary J. Blige, which did not surprise me in the least. But watching her charm those children, I mean, that school's full of love.
It is. She sets the tone. It's contagious.
Yeah,
it's
she did.
incredible.
She was awesome.
Oh my gosh. And Hoda, you fit right in.
Yeah,
It's like
really.
so perfect. Thank you.
By the way, if you're watching or listening,
Lord, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone.
That was
You enjoyed it.
that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Looking forward to that happening to all of our schools in our district. Keep us posted. All right, right now I just want to shout out some of our district leaders. Let's see, Dr. Hall, if you want to say a few words, say hi.
Thank you, President Mezitin. And First Vice President Clavin, congratulations on your new appointments. To the entire CEC, Happy New Year. It's wonderful to reconnect with everyone in 2025. To all of our district leaders, our school leaders, families and community members, elected officials on the call, happy New Year. Once again, it's wonderful to reconnect with all of you in the name of our children in District 28. So we return to the 24-25 school year re-energized as a district team to continue to serve. So please continue to stay in touch with your CEC, with the district office, with your children's schools, so that we can continue to partner to ensure that each and every student in District 28 maintains on the successful path, right? So we want to make sure that academic success is the future for each and every student in our district. So continue to partner with us. And I know that our contact information is always in the chat, but we'll make sure it goes back in there once again this evening so that we can stay connected. Looking forward to the remainder of our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. And our FLC, Sonia. I'd like to say that.
Here. Good evening, everyone. You know, I'm going to echo the sentiment of our district team, our leaders. Half of the year is already gone. It's like in a flash of an eye, and the coming months are going to be just as quick. And so this is a great opportunity for us to stay focused, right, on our mission, on our children, on our families. You have the support of all of us here. The work is never done, right? We never finish the work. It's always ongoing. And the beauty of it is that we're all ready to roll our sleeves and just to continue this work, which is not easy work, but we're all passionate about it in so many different forms. And so I just want to say thank you again. We are together. And so not always, you know, in agreement, but that's the beauty of it. I think, Clinton, when you mentioned it before, it's the diversity, it's being able to listen to each other because we have so much to learn from everyone here. I want to especially give a shout out to the parent coordinators that are here this evening. You know, they're tireless when it comes to supporting our families. So I want to just give them a quick shout out. And just in terms of a parent and parent voices, just know that as parent leaders, you continue to fill so many different spaces, Title I, SLT, CEC, PTAs. And so my job is to make sure that you are equipped with the tools for the remainder of the year. And so I'm also going to put in the chat our 2025 Community Education Council elections will be starting the kickoff. So you'll be hearing a lot about that, how you can hopefully, if you're not already on the CEC, that you're inspired by the work, the amazing work that this team is doing to just maybe take a leap at running yourselves. So I'll put that here. And again, thank you. Congratulations, Quentin and Laura, for your new positions. And yeah, that's it. Giving it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Benoit, I know you played the video, but did you want to say hi as well?
Thank you so much. I just want to say Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone has a blessed and wonderful 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. And if all principals and elected officials can please just update their names so we can definitely give you that shout out. And I want to bring up our PEP representative, Adriana Alicia, if you want to say hi. A few words.
Thanks, Quentin. I had put in the chat to speak, but I guess I'll just do that now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Adriana, she, her. I am currently the Queens representative, or to the PEP for Queens CECs, Queens Parents and Families, as I prefer to think about it. I was going to share information about the upcoming PEP meeting. It is quite a bit of information. I will try to go through it as slowly as possible here, but I'm going to put all of this information into the chat as soon as I'm done talking. So the next PEP meeting is on the 22nd of January. That is a Wednesday. If you are able, please come to this PEP meeting as it is going to be held in Queens. And the information that we'll be discussing about schools will be relevant to Queens. There's a proposed opening and co-location of the HBCU Early College Prep 29Q427. Whoop, whoop. The New York City Public Schools direct contact for that is Rhea, as for all else, and I've included all of the links for that. We will also be discussing and potentially voting on the proposed opening and co-location of Queens International. That's 24Q849. The contact for that is Rhea as well. Speaker sign up begins on the day of the meeting. So in this case, that'll be the 22nd of January. Speaker sign up begins at 5:30 and closes at 6:15. You can now sign up online. I have the link for that as well, and I'm going to include it. The online sign up time is 5:30. So until like 5:29, the sheet will be entirely closed and it's going to say, it's going to give you an error message essentially. But once 5:30 rolls around, you will be able to access that sheet and sign up. If you are going to be joining in person, you can just sign up when you arrive, or if you're running late, you can sign up on your phone. If you need to access the meeting remotely, I've included the link to watch it via Learn DOE. If you cannot come to the meeting in person and you have anything to say or something to say that's maybe not necessarily be about either of these two utilization proposals, but may be relevant to you, your child or loved one's school, etc., you can email that to panel@schools.nyc.gov. I've included all of that, and I will share it in the chat as well. You can feel free to CC me, and in fact, please do CC me. I've included my email there as well. Let's see. Okay, that's everything. I think that's everything. If I have anything else, I'll just put it in the chat. Thank you so much for this time. I know it was more than, or at least I think it was more than 2 minutes. I'm available. I'm around. I'll be here all night. Thank you, and congratulations, Quentin and Lauren.
Thank you, Adriana. All right, right now, we're going to go to our presenter from SCA, Danielle Schaff. Are you ready with your presentation?
I am. Yes, I am. Thank you. So
Awesome.
good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I hope 2025 will be a great year for all of us, for the city of Queens, of New York, and my personal borough, Queens. Looking forward to starting it off right, and I'm excited and thankful that CEC28 has invited SCA to present this evening, kicking off not just January, but our new year here. And I will share our screen now with our presentation on our capital plan. Okay, so on my side, it appears that it is displaying. I just wanted to make sure with you, Quentin, if it is.
It is.
Fantastic. Congratulations on your new position, as well as Lauren. I know you'll serve the district well. I've been lucky to be part of SCA for the last 10 years. And CEC28 always does a great job with prioritizing for their district and sending in their forms. And we look forward to continue to working together with your district this year as well. So tonight's presentation, my agenda, we would like to show you an overview of our 25 to 29 capital plan, the highlights of our plan. We will look at capacity projects or capacity program rather, that had projects that were encompassing our 2020 to 2024 projects, as well as our 25 to 29 projects. We will look at capital improvements that are done on our existing buildings, reso projects that are created with the help of our elected officials or due to our elected officials' generosity, our comment form, and then our questions and comments period. Okay, so just a quick little snap. Actually, that's the lobby of New Edition PS 174. So let me just try to move this out of the way here for me. For our fiscal year 25 to 29 capital year, 5-year capital plan, our proposed amendment, our budget is currently at $20.5 billion. So just for anyone who's new, our SCA is our school construction authority, and our mission is to build new schools, keep schools, existing buildings in good condition with renovations and modifications, and as well as having our capital plan budget that we're seeing that is currently 20.5 billion. I wanted to just say that it's like a live budget. So every year within this 25 to 29, our capital plan, our needs change within the 5 boroughs for all of our school, and our budget hopefully will increase again next year. So we reevaluate every year, and we have different buckets of money that we put our budget into, and we can see these broken down below. Currently, these are being broken down for across all 5 boroughs. We will get to the section that is district specific for District 28. Our capacity program, or the creation of new seats, is at almost $7 billion. Healthy schools is at $2.28 billion. Capital improvements for existing buildings, $7.5 billion. And our mandated programs are at $3.75 billion. Some of our highlights for this plan, we have a little over $6 billion for new capacity, electrification, buildings that will be 100% electric. We have budget for $1.4 billion. Our technology budget is $1.25 billion. Accessibility within our school buildings, $800 million for a budget. Physical education spaces upgrades, $40 million. And our cafeteria enhancement experience, we have set $150 million. For our capacity program, we have $6.13 billion. Replacement program, we have slotted $400 million for. Replacement program, just to clarify that for folks, sometimes we have leases that are coming up and need to either be renewed or we need to find a new location for. That is what we would consider a replacement program. Capacity to support TCU removals, $200 million. Playground redevelopments, $50 million. And early education, our ECC schools, $200 million. Okay. Within District 28, some of our capacity highlights for our district. We've recently opened new addition at PS 174, 403 seats in this past September. Coming up on next September 2025, we will be opening PS 160's new addition with 354 seats. We are currently renovating PS 182's annex to increase their capacity there by 100 seats. Those renovations are slotted to be done by September 25, our new school year. In addition to the seats that we see, we still do have some work to do in your district. We currently have 2 separate projects that have not yet been cited, but we do have the funding for and the creation of 2 additional projects. One, we're looking at 351 seats, and we would project that opening for September 26th. And then for project number 1, 600 seats, anticipated opening would be September 27. Okay, just I don't know if anybody's had an opportunity to, but just an exterior shot of our newly opened PS 174, as well as their new main lobby with the artwork for public schools. Okay. Capital improvements. So some folks may be saying, hey, how does a project become a project for our existing school buildings? So School Construction Authority annually will go and conduct a Buildings Condition Assessment Survey, or a BCAS survey. We will go to every single school across all 5 boroughs with inspectors. We will welcome and love to work with just not only just our inspectors, but our principals and custodians of the buildings as well. They know their buildings best. And we will rate every component of that building. Electrical components, mechanical components, and structural components. So we will look at the conditions of the windows. We will look at the conditions of staircases, exterior staircases, handrails, auditorium chairs, water fountains, toilets, etc. Everything gets rated. It gets rated on a scale from 5 to 0. 5 being in the worst condition, 0 being in perfect condition, or 1 being in perfect condition. So School Construction Authority, we would love to be able to get to everything that is wrong in all the schools across the boroughs. However, we need to stay, or rather we only have a certain amount of money. Although it sounds big, the money goes fast across 5 boroughs. And we do address our 5s annually. to help to keep our buildings safe, watertight, safe and watertight. Another way that our capital improvement projects get created is our colleagues at Division of School Facilities. Although we partner with them to keep our buildings running and maintained, there are things that DSF will flag for us or will not be within their capabilities, and they will flag it to SCA to become a project. There are mandated repairs. You can see around the schools, we've been changing out an example like an exit light sign. Those are mandated repairs under local laws. Reso A is another way that projects get created. There will be a section or a slide on that as well, but those are due to our elected officials funding. And our CEC requests. CEC will also submit a form. At the end, you'll see the form, and they will prioritize with the input from their principals, and we will coordinate their requests with our BCAS reports to see what can be coming to fruition. Some of the projects that are capital improvement out that we do, there are exterior masonry projects, replacements of windows, replacements of roofs, flood elimination around the exterior buildings, accessibility projects, playground updates, auditorium renovations, and gymnasium upgrades. District 28, you can see here we had quite a substantial amount of projects that we've already created for the 25 to 29 capital plan. Next year, this list will grow. You will see more projects. You will see more money that we have allocated for specific projects within the district. Again, this is a live plan. It keeps getting added to for the duration until 29. Currently, we have one window project in 28 that is over $10 million. We have roof replacement projects, 2 of them, totaling over $11 million. One parapet repair replacement project at $2.3 million. Exterior masonry project at almost $3.5 million. Cafeteria multi-purpose room upgrade at, that's a kind of weird number, but $666,666. And student toilet upgrade of $200,000. School safety, 11 projects, totaling over $4 million. Reso A projects. Our Reso A projects are school-specific capital improvement or enhancement projects that are funded by members of our New York City Council, our Borough President's Office, and or individual grants. Within Queens, we have extremely generous public elected officials that help to fill the gaps and to create really fun, amazing projects along with our principals to better the spaces within our school buildings. Currently within this plan, we're seeing 44 auditorium projects funded by our elected officials, totaling $23.5 million. 4 electrical upgrades, over $300,000. 14 library projects at $5.5 million. 6 playground renovations, over $11 million. And 22 science labs at over $7 million of Reso A funding. Okay, so this is the form we were chatting about, or I had mentioned. So our CEC members, I know that they have been working hard to get the information back from their school principals regarding what the needs are in their school buildings and how to prioritize their requests on these forms coming up. So by January 17th, the top 5 need to be need to be submitted to SCA, and the email is on there. It's not to me, which you'll see next, but it is to rcinput@nycsca.org. That is the end of my presentation. Here's my contact information. I also put this in the chat. I will send the PDF over to our CECs, but they can share and disseminate, post on their website. So you'll have it at your fingertips moving forward as well. I'd like to just go back to our CEC president and see if there's any questions that your CEC have, and to open up that section of the presentation.
Thank you so much. Well, start with our council members. Does anybody have any questions? All right, go ahead, Lou.
Thank you for your presentation. My question is on the high school level renovation plan. Can you give us an update on Fort Hill High School and also the situation for York, the Queens High School for Science at York? Because both high school are in within the geographic area in District 28, and many students in K to 8, will eventually consider, attending those schools. So I think that's very relevant to us too. Thank you.
Sure. So if I could say that I've been with SCA for 10 years and there hasn't been a time that we haven't had a project at Forest Hills High School. As we know, it's a beautiful 100-year-old building and we are constantly doing renovations there. So many apologies to our community members that live around the school, but in recent years, you have seen a new track come onto fruition. Right now, we are currently performing additional exterior renovations. There is roof work on the tower there, and there is a new project coming that is also exterior project. We have just announced as well that Forest Hills High School will be getting an annex, and it will be located at the backside towards the Grand Central Parkway. I believe, and I'm sorry, I don't have all the figures. I didn't have the CEC28 prepared yet for tonight, but I believe it's approximately 700 seats, maybe 6 and change. And I don't have an exact opening date yet on that. It's kind of fresh off the presses that we were able to allocate funding and that we will be able to provide an annex at that building. So that will help to alleviate obvious, overcrowding at the school's location. And I would assume that would come online in 5 to 6 years. Don't quote me on that. Hopefully in a couple of months we'll have a more defined date and we can give you that information. Regarding your college, I don't have anything currently to update you on that. I think maybe you mean the high school at York. Is that what you were referring to?
The special high school, the Queens High School for Science at York.
So are you asking me if we have any construction at that particular location? Then my answer there is
Because
currently
in
no.
the in the year before we had this discussion before, because the building is need to, I think they need to relocate it. There was a plan, but it was canceled because building wasn't fit into renovation for the school purpose, blah blah. And so I'm just saying, any update if you have identified or trying to identify a new location, or you can there's any other plan for the school.
So currently for the School Construction Authority, we are not looking to build new capacity to relocate an existing building. We will find sites and build new buildings, and then the Department of Education would handle any relocations of existing organizations. So I don't know if this is the correct platform for that without Office of District Planning with us. I don't know if Dr. Blake could comment to that any further with his workings with, but again, that's more for the superintendent of high schools too. To be fair, it's not really for Dr. Blake and his team. That would be at the high school district superintendent level and conversations. Different teams for different folks.
Great. Latifa?
Hi, good evening, Daniel. So one just question, actually following up on Lou's part, the Forest Hill Annex that is planning to be built, is that going to take away their field space, or is there additional space that's planning to be on?
Sure. So it's really it's truly in the infancy stages of planning. We do not have a design, to be fair. We just decided that we're going to take this funding or take funding that we have and be able to create the annex. I can confirm to you that the location of the annex is not to be placed in the middle of the field. If you drive past on the service road by the Grand Central, you see a slot of kind of asphalted area that was gifted to the city now from another city agency to be used as the annex space. So it may encroach a little bit on like where the tennis courts are. There may be some reconfiguration going on regarding the tennis courts, but the intention is to not go on the actual round track and field.
Okay. And then so that was just based off of what he said. But so my question, I guess, is related more generally than to a specific school with feedback time and I guess clarifications when there are issues with the process. Because one of my liaison schools was in a position this year where it became a matter of, I guess, passing around the blame as to where the breakdown happened in terms of the submission. The submission was there. They were listed as an approved project, and then it was indicated that, oh, it went to the wrong school, not even in the District 28 part. But for months, the principal had been asking for feedback, and we had no feedback for them because the council only got this feedback, almost like 2 months before we're now at another submission stage. So can something better be done to ensure that we have more timely feedback on our projects if there are clarifications that need to be done with the projects, that the principals, the CECs, the district, whoever it is, has more of a knowledge, because there we just got a notice that, hey, your project is completed. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then found out that it was attributed at first to another school when it wasn't a need at that school. It was just closed off as a completed project. So that's one thing. And then my second piece is as far as the whole class size, access for all issues are coming in. Again, also in terms of like the feedback and, a lot of projects that we put down, some of my schools sometimes I think are hesitant to continue submitting the SDA projects because it gets denied year after year, even though like if you go in, you see the vivid need. So how can we address that in a better part for this upcoming session and those going forward? So, to ensure that schools do not feel that they're like kind of in a stranglehold. They're afraid to put things in here and then not be able to put it in for, to figure out which ones are going for retrogrades, which ones are STA, whatever it is. And it's not just in terms of the amount, because they're putting in projects that are within the funding amount, projects that based on sometimes building assessment has the right ones and twos and whatever else, but it's frustrating and very sometimes demoralizing, especially for the less popular schools, the less advocated schools, a lot of schools that fall, sometimes in the Saudi section. Some of them have been great at getting additional funding through, their electeds or whatnot based on relationship. But if SCA is supposed to be taking care of all of the schools, most of these major constructions, it's not fair to some of these schools that they're never getting responses.
Sure. So you gave me a lot of information. I didn't write it all down as you were talking. So please, at the end of this, tell me if I didn't answer something, because I want to be able to address all of it. Let me start with equity. So I do take offense to as a representative of our agency saying that we put our money towards maybe more affluent neighborhoods. That's absolutely not accurate. So where our money goes, it goes to the schools in the worst condition every year, no matter what neighborhood you're in. We don't look at the neighborhood. We're looking at the assessments on the buildings, whose windows are the worst, whose roofs are the worst, who's getting the worst flooding in their basements, and that's where our capital money goes. You also spoke about RESOA and relationships. That's something that SCA is not part of. Our principals will go to their elected officials, and the elected officials will go to the principals annually, have conversations with them. And I know the borough president, they even do annual hearings where everyone has an opportunity to go to his office will submit and also go into his office to be considered for his funding. So that works completely separate. I want to make sure we're clear on that. That ResOA is very separate from how
Can I
active
clarify the
projects
ask a little bit?
created.
So I'm not saying that the funding does not go into the less affluent neighborhoods. I'm just saying that, you know, as they say, sometimes the loudest, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, whatever it is. So even as we're voting sometimes, you know, there are some schools that have 1,000 students or 800 students or whatever it is, and have sometimes very involved programs. And sometimes where those needs are, the needs are not necessarily as well represented. So even when we're voting as members, you know, maybe I have a school that I'm advocating for, but it's not the most populous one because we have some schools that are, you know, multiply represented on our councils, etc. So
Right.
these are not necessarily the projects that go forward. But why I mentioned Reso A is not because it's coming from you, but schools are then put into a position because you've submitted something in January and in October you still don't know whether you're going to get any funds or not. So now many of them are in a position that they're like, I don't want to submit the same thing in two places and then get denied because they're saying that it's here, but they have no idea whether they are going to get even considered for that funding, and it's almost time to submit a new one. So that's where I'm coming from. So I'm not saying that it's
No, that
going
makes
to
sense.
the wrong places. I'm
I
saying the
appreciate you
process, the feedback.
clarifying that. Yeah. So just for ResOA in particular, I would give my recommendation that the principals definitely, if they put it on something they're asking CEC to prioritize, they should also ask their elected officials for. ResOA funding is more like they wouldn't ask an elected official to ResOA or allocate a grant for broken windows or window replacements. They wouldn't ask to do new drains in the schoolyard, things of that nature. They will ask ResOA funding for libraries, water fountains, bathroom renovations, playgrounds, auditoriums that can kind of be pieced together. It doesn't have to be one massive auditorium renovation. So they have an opportunity to do both. And I can say that if and I'm just speaking really honestly, like if we're going to put something down on a priority request form, if it's not a 5, it will not be able to be funded. Maybe if it's a bad 4, but typically we only can get to, or we only have enough funding every year to address the things that are in the worst condition, which are rated as 5s. So a lot of years I do see the forms come in and there are things on the forms that perhaps are not eligible, or perhaps are not rated as a 5. So that's a lot of the requests we're not able to fulfill because they don't meet the qualifications. You had mentioned something regarding like the money, like if it was enough or a lot. So we don't have like a limit on our capital plans for a project. So for example, we have one school that maybe our exterior project costs $5 million for. Another school is maybe bigger, or maybe we have more of a scope and that is costing $10 million. So I just wanted to make sure that it was understood that we don't cap it. If the work is needed to be done and we see it's like we're doing a window replacement, and we want to address the windows, then we're going to address the windows if they're rated 5s, if they're in poor condition, whether they are 20 windows or 60 windows. If they're all in the poorest condition and rated number 5s, then that's what we want to get to for the next year coming as part of that plan. So
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I know you asked about class size matters, and I just wanted to touch upon that. So our capital construction is only one way that class size matters will be achieving compliances, giving all the real estate and funding constraints. So obviously in Queens, we see a ton of new buildings in at least the last decade that I've been here have gone up in Queens, additions and new buildings. But regarding class size matters, that's a conversation that SCA will be happy to be part of. with your CEC, but to have that meeting and to make it most meaningful, we have to have the space planners involved in that, and your Office of District Planning, so that we can have a cohesive conversation, especially when there's schools that are only in need of a couple of classrooms, in order to achieve compliances. Okay, so that was another one. Did I miss something, Latifa? Talked about class size, resume.
General, yeah, I think you touched everything. I'm not
sorry.
100% happy with all the answers, but I think you touched all of them.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think there was one other thing you mentioned regarding a school, and I think what happened was, and I think somebody from your CEC and my colleague were having conversations, where it
Yeah,
was
I spoke with something where
school,
we picked
right?
from a drop down.
It
The
was a
drop
drop
down
down.
was completely listed in the description. It indicated District 28, it indicated the school name. Somehow on SCA's part, it ended up being attributed to a school in District 24. So there was a bit of a, well,
Yeah,
it
actually,
must have happened on your end, it must have happened on your end,
Yeah.
and
It was that your
the intent,
building
I guess the final part is that the school did not get anything. They didn't know they weren't getting anything after being falsely, I guess, suggested that they are in the preliminary report that we got. So, and this only happened, I guess, in what, October, November, almost November. So, for something that was submitted in January. There was no follow-up with the principal that there's a discrepancy or whatnot. And basically the answer from your office suggested that, well, we don't follow up in that way, but there is a thing that's listed as explosive. And that's a little bit disheartening. And another reason, as I said, that sometimes the inequities end up happening because the schools that are sometimes, smaller, struggling, have multiple things that are getting denied, and then this here is listed as a thing. You're not really motivated to submit again.
I understand that point. I know that wasn't exactly the answer that my colleague wrote back to the CEC, because I was part of that response. And I do know that it was the drop down that was submitted. So there was a building number, right? I forget the exact number. Let's just call it Q030. And then there's a PS330, right? PS30 and a Q030. Somehow I think that on the drop down, is this making sense, Natifa? Like I'm on the right track here with the email?
It is making
That it
sense,
was
but I'm
not
saying
referenced
when we
properly
saw,
on
like
that
the copy that we were CC'd on, had everything in our way, because the other school is not even in our district, and we only had schools in our district in the drop down. And then afterwards, it was like he made sure for this year that the form is not going to allow it to go out there. But so this is where, as I said, it became a little bit of like, well, it must have happened at this point, or it must have happened at that point. But the end point was that a school that was essentially was made to believe that a long overdue project in a building that's not accessible, which was listed as a safety related part, although it's on the technology, did not have that, and they did not get feedback in an early enough time when this is one thing, like when they're putting out additional Reso A grants, putting out additional things to the borough president or who not, you're given, hey, approved, or wait, you're given that, and then it turns out when it's listed as completed, that's when you find out that it wasn't actually a project that was approved for you because there was that miscommunication. So I'm just saying that's something that, had that been highlighted in March, it would be a different feeling, conversation or whatnot, but not in November when it's about to be another submission.
Right. So for March for us would be it wouldn't be feasible to get through, I don't know, 250,000 submittals or whatever comes from all the districts. Some districts submit 100, some districts submit 30. So there's a process for them to do that, and then to cross-reference everything that's on the BCAS reports, because that's literally what they're doing. But I know in particular, with this drop down window issue that we had experienced this year, that there were further tweaks done electronically and digitally on our end so that there wouldn't ever be an overlap with schools that building ID numbers are different than their PS numbers, to have any kind of a cross reference or cross contamination, however you would like to call it, to avoid that moving forward. So I understand that could be frustrating currently, but we did take assurances that would never have a duplication of that issue. And that's, I think at this point, the best we can do is just correct anything that was incorrectly submitted and make sure that it can't be in the future. Because we don't want to waste anyone's time, obviously. You know, we want to be able to look at tangible things and not just have people feel like they're doing the work and then it's going on the wayside. So we understand, and we have made accommodations to ensure that proactively it doesn't happen again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other council members? Okay. All right, if there's any other questions, we'll bring them up at the end, Danielle. I right now want to still go and thank you, Danielle, for your presentation, and council members who spoke up. Right now, I still want to give a chance for some of our district leaders. Bruce, our UFT representative, you want to just
Signed up on the list.
Oh, you signed up to say hi later?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll catch up with you, Bruce. We have our President's Council President, Miss Mendoza. You'd like to just say hi?
Hello, everyone. I'm not sure what I should say. We postponed our last meeting, but we're moving on ahead for next meeting.
Thank you, Miss Mendoza. All right, we have our Queensborough President's Office, Catherine Zapata.
Can you all hear me? I keep getting muted. Am I good now?
Yes.
Awesome. Happy New Year, everyone. I wish you all a very much happy and prosperous upcoming 2025. I can't believe it. Definitely also want to apologize for not being on camera. I'm in the middle of having dinner, as I'm sure most of you are as well. But just want to say, firstly, congratulations to Quinton and to Lauren for their new roles on the council. I'm looking forward to working with you both closely as well. Thank you again to Dr. Blake and District 28. That was a beautiful video of PS 117. I would love to get a copy to share with the borough president. So beautiful and heartwarming to see during this time. Definitely want to touch on some of the inquiries and concerns related to Resolution A funding. Our office has been actively trying to make sure that there are more levels of engagement and communication when it comes to supporting our schools, our principals, and of course, keeping parents and community members aware of the process itself. I do want to know that in District 28, the borough president in the past 3 years has given $22 million. Obviously, that's not suffice to the needs of the larger district, but I do want to let you all know that we're here and I'm here and listening. I will always put my email and let you all know to feel free to reach out. And I see Shernette already put a question. So Resolution A is due February 28th. All principals, so if the principal is on here and has not received the email from me, it went out December 16th with all information. You all should have received an email from me on December 16th and December, I want to say 23rd, relaying all information related to Resolution A. I also want to note that the borough president will be hosting a resolution, a informational for parents and community members. So please be on the lookout for that day. We want to make sure that you all are engaged and aware of Resolution A process. The borough president's process itself and how he works jointly with all members. As Danielle mentioned in her presentation, the borough president gives opportunity for all schools to attend the budget and testimony hearing. That will be January 27th and 28th, where schools will have an allotted time to speak about their respective needs. So of course, please feel free to reach out. I also want to know if there's any principal, assistant principal, or parent coordinators that know of or any project or existing project that has been granted Resolution A funding, please feel free to relay that information to myself. Yes, of course, Rashurna, I will make sure to ping that up. So please feel free to reach out to us in that regard. I will also include here in the chat box, oh, I guess it's not letting me send our upcoming events. So not next week, January 14th. Wow, I'm ahead of myself. We will be hosting a parent advisory board meeting that was rescheduled with the new deputy chancellor of FACE unit within the Department of Education. I also want to note that we will have our director of community boards come and speak about the community board application. So if you're interested in learning more about the borough president's community board application, as well as what the community board does, we invite you all to come on January 14th to our parent advisory board meeting. All are welcome, of course. Then we have a couple more events, a Know Your Rights event happening on January 7th, a winter coat drive that is ongoing with Assembly member Catalina Cruz and Jessica Gonzalez Rojas. And then we have our Lunar New Year that is happening January 30th. And we also invite you all to our 3rd annual Tech and Career Expo, which will happen at the Museum of Moving Image. We have great STEAM opportunities for not only students, but also parents who are looking to enhance their skills in this area. Again, please always feel free to reach out to me. And yes, it is Resolution A applications are due February 28th. And thank you all once again for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next month and maybe within the month of January. Please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Mrs. Zapata. We appreciate you always and all the work you do at the Borough President's office. All right, and I just want to say hi to Communication Boards 6 and 12. We see you and we appreciate all the work you do in our communities. Any elected officials, feel free to raise your hand and I could definitely unmute you so you could say hi. And for principals, if you want to say a few words, we have Principal Lau.
Good evening. Sorry, I just had to step out from bedtime with my little one. Thank you so much for all that you do as a community board. I'm here tonight not only as the proud principal of the Emerson School, but also as the CSA chairperson for all the principals, assistant principals, and EAs in our district who do the great work in collaboration with our district team, the CEC, our elected officials, our UFT partners in doing the great work that we all do. So thank you so much to everyone. Wishing you all a happy new year. And I look forward to our continued work together. Congrats, Principal Van Gutten. That video was awesome. Loved it.
Thank you. And Principal Greco.
Hi everyone. I don't know why I was blurry. Hi everyone. I just want to wish everybody Happy New Year. I actually missed a few of like the last 2 CEC meetings, and then there's a new president. So congratulations on your new presidency. That's great. Yeah, so Happy New Year, everybody. Glad to be here. I love Reso A time. We just finished up an auditorium upgrade where we got like new like projectors and a new sound system and all that kind of stuff. That took probably close to 5 years, like working with these people and SCA and all that kind of stuff. So the Reso A thing is definitely frustrating, and I thank the CEC for like advocating for the principals and stuff. It is very frustrating, like working, putting in for CE for Reso A's like year after year, and they get denied, and then when we do get approved for them, it takes many, many years and emails and phone calls, like prices change, and then they say, oh, you need to get more money for this to continue. So that's all like behind the scenes stuff, but it is a frustrating process, but I know I'm not just by myself, but all the principals like really thank the CEC for advocating for us, as far as the Reso A's go, and that's it. So Happy New Year. Welcome back. Excited for the rest of the year. And that's it. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Principal Hanley.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Wishing everybody a healthy 2025 and prosperous one. I would like to congratulate the new president and vice president. We'll miss VJ, but I'm sure you will both do a great job. I do appreciate the speakers that you had on tonight. Kat Zapata has been helping some of us principals with Reso A grants that have been in the works for several years and trying to get them going. It is a lot of work, and it's a lot of time that we dedicate to speaking to all these different individuals, picking out the materials, and then doing it all over again, and still nothing happens. So any support we can get is greatly appreciated.
All right, thank you. We have Principal Robin Hasbury Signal.
New Year, everyone. Can you all hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yes, we can
Oh,
hear you.
great. Okay, great. Thank you. Congratulations to our newly elected president. We look forward to working with you and to doing some amazing things. Happy New Year again, everyone. And I'm glad to have started my 23rd year with the CEC here with District 28. So I'm looking forward to all of the great changes, and I'm definitely part of a community that has had many Reso A grants, and we're still politicking for some working water fountains. Right, the ones that like actually work and that are filtered. So we will definitely be putting in that application, and we want to support our PTA president for tonight, Ms. Tiffany Moore Murray, as she will be speaking on some very pressing challenges that has been brought to our attention from our parents within our community. So we want to just thank everybody, and thank you for all the teachers that are on tonight that will have an opportunity to be able to support our parents. Thanks again.
Thank you. We have Principal Eric Van Guten.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations as well to the newly elected board members. And Happy New Year to everyone. My school was the one featured on the Today Show, and it was a great experience for the full school community. A lot of memories for the boys and girls, the teachers, the staff members, and the families, of course. But it was definitely a District 28 group effort. We greatly appreciate the leadership from District 28. As you saw, our auditorium, that was a brand new auditorium that came from a Reso 8 grant with new curtains and painting and seats and all of that. So I'm just really fortunate to be in D28, the great D28, and I just wish everyone the best in the year ahead.
Thank you, and congratulations again. The next principal, Principal Katan Brown.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say congratulations to the new president and vice president and all of my colleagues, Dr. Blake, Dr. Hall, Dr. Minwine, everyone there. I just want to wish everyone a happy new year and a great school year. We have great things happening in our district and congratulations again and everyone a great and wonderful school year. Thank you.
Thank you. And our
Speakers.
yeah, we can go to our speaker list. All right. So our community speaker list, we're going to start with.
How long do they have?
You have 2 minutes as we begin. All right. You have 2 minutes to ask a question and make a statement. And we don't have a long list tonight. At first, we will start with our in-person alternating. We have
Vanessa, so online, in person.
online in-person.
This is both. Okay, go ahead, Venus, and then Vanessa. No, she had put it first. That's why before came in. That's why. Yeah. Okay.
That's why I came in person.
Okay.
Y'all always got with the people in person. Can y'all hear me?
We'll go over there. We gotta see you too.
You need to unmute.
Good evening. Who's keeping time? Is it starting? Hi, my name is Venus. I'm here in person today in honor of Joanne, district leader, a parent leader in our community who passed away a few days ago. She was hit by a car, I believe, near Lefferts at 115. I met her in this very room in October 2011 when I first started attending CECs, when my son was in pre-K. Now my son is a freshman in college. I stepped into this room and I was fuming the same way I was just fuming right now in my seat. And we had a difference of opinion because I came here with not anger, but just frustration at how the bureaucracy, how the systems and the institutions are not set up for success for our students, especially our students on the south side of the district, our Black students, our students of color, our Latino students, our underserved community. So I'm here tonight in person, because I could have been in line dance class in Rochdale, in honor of Joanne. So let's speak her name. She was a powerful parent advocate and leader. Like I shared, I have different opinions with everybody, but I want to focus on her memory, right? And that passion that's inside of me. Please, let's start talking about schools again. That was my call to action in the beginning of the school year. Did anybody do their homework? I gave you homework last month. That was to go on the District 25 CEC YouTube page and watch a few of their CEC meetings to see how their superintendent, Dr. Mike D'Antona, discusses the data at every meeting, and he goes a deep dive into the data, and I'm requesting that that happens here. I also want to know what's going to go on with 160, because once that extension is complete, what is going in there? That's a school that's a lower performing, lower enrollment. So what are the plans for that school so it doesn't get snatched up by charter schools? We need to talk about PS40 and Jamaica Children's School and what's happening with those schools. Remember, Dr. Pate talked about maybe collaborating those schools, and that was not wanted, and what's happening now, because as our lower performing schools on the south side of the district, we need to talk about those schools. MS72, IS8, what are happening with our schools? PS80, PS354, not just because they're low performing or high performing, but not one school was mentioned on the south side for extensions and all of these projects. We need to uplift the voices of the uplifted, of the voices of the voiceless. I'm here uplifting their voice. That's why I'm here today in honor of Joanne. Rest in peace to her. She was 51 years old. She has students that graduated, daughters that graduated from YECA. So when he's mentioned about the York Specialized High School, which only I think 8% of those are students of color, what about York Early College Academy that's been waiting for their own building for over 15 years? They've been housed inside of IS8 with the Emerson School. So we really have to focus on our schools where the voices are not being uplifted, where the families may not be empowered to be at these different Queensborough president meetings and all of these different meetings. And I just want to end with one thing. When the DOE and the institution has us parents advocating for schools and funding when they know what their schools need. We don't need to talk about Reso A. The principals and the elected officials are friends. And we as parents have to become educated and empowered about how the system works. They know what money needs to go where, and they have us racking our brains for hours when they know what they're going to put through and what they're going to not. So I was insulted by the SCA presentation because you made a mistake and you didn't apologize. So I'm saying this out publicly to the Department of Education, your public schools, and all of the system. Prioritize parents, prioritize transparency, prioritize appropriate customer service and communication, where you let us know as community exactly what's happening when.
Thank you. I want to go back and I had requested that elected officials raise their hand, and maybe it wasn't heard, but I do know we have a representative from Senator Liu's office. Sujin, if you'd like to say a few words. All right, if there's any other elected officials, please raise your hand. We will give you time to speak. But let's continue with our list. Our next speaker this evening is Vanessa Sparks.
Yes, it's always so difficult to unmute. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Congratulations to you, Quentin, and the new first VP. I know you guys would do a phenomenal job. My name is Vanessa Sparks, Education Committee, Community Board 12. I bring greetings from the chairperson, the Reverend Carlene Thorbs, and also from the education chairperson, Latoya LeGrand. So first, let me just echo what Venus said to pay homage to Joanne Franco Robin. Miss Joanne was a powerful education advocate for many, many years in D28, going back now probably almost 20 years. And I just want to speak her name, send my prayers and condolences to her family, and to remind District 28 that her work in the district is not in vain. So first, a couple of things, and I'm gonna try to make this quick. For 2025, I want this to be the year that we no longer operate in silos. There are many principals that are on. Several of them have schools that are in Community Board 12, and we don't hear from you guys. And the only time we do hear from you guys is when you're trying to move forward with something where you kind of circumvent the community board only for it to be brought back to the community board. So in 2025, I'm asking all principals to reach out to the community boards. A lot of what you guys are trying to do and particularly in the area of school construction or school facilities or anything like that, the community board is an integral part of that process. And so we would love for you to reach out to us. I heard the presentation from School Construction Authority, and I agree with Natifa and I agree with Venus. What happens, you're right, the squeaky wheel does get the oil. Just to let you know, I am a D28 baby from 1968, part of a desegregation initiative in 1970. So I've been a student, a parent leader, a parent advocate from 1968 to the present. So there's nothing about D28 that I do not know. And it is the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. There are schools, because of they have a parent population that is professionally sophisticated. They know how to navigate systems and advocate for what they need, and there are other schools that don't. And lastly, I have a lot to say, but lastly, I just want to say this. Venus touched on something and is very, very important, and it mostly occurs on the southern end of the district. We have low enrollment in most of our schools. And many of our schools have 2 to 3 schools in a building. And I am concerned what is going to happen to some of these schools as enrollment numbers drop. And I think that the district needs to be proactive as opposed to being reactionary. So I charge the superintendent, the deputy superintendent, and principals of schools that sit in Community Board 12 to please reach out to us, and we can actually meet and speak and strategize on what we're going to do to keep our schools whole. So again, thank you and Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing all of you. And I just want to give a shout out, 2 shout outs. Shout out to Bruce. And I see the principal from Junior High School 190, which is my alma mater. Go Russell Sage.
Thank you. Quick reminder, we are going for 2 minutes or less. 2 minutes or less. We have our next in-person, Charlene Benny. She's been waiting patiently.
You say I need to take it off mute or it's already? Okay. Just mute. Okay. Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Charlene O'Benny. I'm a parent of a currently, I guess, a citywide student. She's currently attending the daycare site. And in 2025-2026 school year, she'll be enrolled in kindergarten. So as we know, the kindergarten application is currently open and closes at the end of the school year. So in the process of enrolling her and looking at my options of the District 28 schools, I noticed only 5 of them had at least a 75% accuracy rate in terms of state exams of the 28 that was available to me. Now, I came previously to a CEC meeting discussing about my challenges with the early intervention program and then discussing my challenges with the current program under the education leadership and providing her services for speech. So since that last meeting, she still does not have speech services. Since that last meeting, I have done 2 impartial hearings, one for last school year and one for this school year, because she still does not have services. She's sitting in this room. So last time I was told that that's not something that we necessarily discuss, but I employed a CEC to make sure that we have a person on the staff as a liaison for these early educators, because we're walking into a school system that is already struggling. Many of our school systems are below 50%. So how are we not making sure that the littlest minds in our district are not getting their services? And when I speak with other parents, this is commonplace. So I'm able to get all of these services, quote unquote, and even with a final order from the judge, the DOE is still not following the mandate. What about all of the other parents that don't know? what to do. They don't know about impartial hearings. So I'm gonna employ the CEC to appoint a liaison for the early educators, the pre-K students, the students who don't enroll directly in DOE pre-K programs. Because at the end of the day, they're your future. They're your future students. And now she's getting ready for a kindergarten seat, and she hasn't had services for over a year. So I need us to work together on this. I need us to look more intensively at how we can really support, and I need us to work on a way for us to really evaluate what the DOE is doing to support these student services. Now, I heard the now elected president is a staunch advocate for special education services. You're looking at the future right there. And right now, she doesn't have her services for over a year. And I'm gonna implore you to do something about it, not only for my child, but for all the students in this district. Because it is not fair for them to try to fight to get to the same level as another student, and they don't have the crutch, they don't have the help. Some of the students don't have the patterns that they're supposed to have. So if they don't have it at the bare minimum, when they enroll into our elementary schools in which we have dedicated liaisons, what are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to function? It's not fair to our parents. So we need to come up with a plan collectively to make sure that we have a liaison for these babies. Because they're gonna be elementary students one day, they're gonna be middle school students one day, they're gonna be high school students one day. And we want them to go off to amazing college that also hopefully supports their accommodations that they need. I just want all the students in District 28 to be successful, and that starts at the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we
anyone in the district office that can give
Mrs. Albany an
I
answer?
think I spoke to Ms. Mendez already, but unfortunately, still have my.
That one is fine too. You look at that, everybody.
Okay, but we'll definitely follow up with you. I will definitely share your information with our district, and we definitely get on top of things like this. We don't like to sweep things under the rug, and this seems like it's something that's might have been there for a while. So thank you for showing up tonight with your daughter. She is the future, and we look forward to working with you to get her the services that she needs.
She was saying, we need data, right? All of these. Services and who doesn't. We know who the students are. So there should be data around that. I don't know who would be responsible or enticed to do that, but we have to start somewhere. Yes.
Come to the right meeting in the right district. Next, we have Tiffany Yvette Moore.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year to one and all. My name is Tiffany Moore Murray, and I have been an active parent and parent leader for the past 16 plus years. My family has been a part of the community for even longer, as I was a student of District 28 in my early upbringing. I would like to speak about PS 140, a school currently attended by one of my 7 children. PS 140 is a true community school and has been a staple in the lives of many families in the South Jamaica area for generations. Even our mayor, Eric Adams, attended PS 140 in his years. We, the PS 140 community, is requesting the CEC's partnership in elevating our school's community concerns in regards to hosting a summarizing an extended school year or a similar summer program at this community school. Last year, the building was open, but it was not open to the students of the community and the students like my son, who was sent across the district to receive the services that he needed, as he is a student with special needs. This would be a great opportunity to not only increase enrollment by allowing families to connect with their homeschool during the summer months, it would allow students to engage in enrichment activities and culturally diverse programs as the landscape of District 28 is changing. While there is a PAL nearby, the need for additional academic achievement and remediation is needed for many of the students to avoid the summer slide, which tends to happen during these long breaks. Hosting a program at PS 140 would be beneficial to the students of the community because it would be a great opportunity for working families by providing reliable childcare with an educational component. It would allow students to improve their social interaction while developing skills that is needed to move on to the next grade, while creating academic enrichment to help mitigate any academic progress that a student may lose during the summer months. It would be a structured environment, and it would allow students to explore their interests with their peers in their own neighborhood. It would also give family access to resources which might not be available otherwise. All of these benefits make a summer program a valuable addition to PS 140. Who in the district office should families reach out to about this concern? We have already been in contact with Family Leadership Coordinator Sonia Rueda. Who should we contact on the superintendent's team? I have also reached out to the Queensborough President, Donovan Richards, who was recently at PS 140 for a Thanksgiving food giveaway. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tiffany. We appreciate it. Dr. Hall, can you address any of these matters with these parents that just spoke?
Sure. So in terms of the summer school site, the list is still being finalized as to which sites will host Summer Rising for summer 2025. Sonia Rueda is a part of the District 28 superintendent's team, so she is one of the people that can definitely be contacted around this once that list is finalized. And thank you, PS 140, for making sure that your voices are heard in terms of what you would like to see happen in your building in particular this summer. So hold tight as we finalize that list, and CEC28 will be sure to get back to you so that the entire community knows which sites will be open for summer 2025. All right, thank you.
Do you have any, sorry, any response that we could give Mrs. O'Benny, the speaker before Tiffany?
Good evening. I can actually respond, Dr. Hall. I'm going to, and I did ask before because I believe this is the same parent that spoke at the last meeting, and I had asked for her information, and I did contact our Committee on Special Education because once it's a child that's not registered in our schools, one of our schools, it gets a little tricky in terms of the you're not working with the actual team in a school, but I did forward her information. But I'm asking Mr. Quinton if you can give her my email directly so that I'm not counting on like a middle person and we can communicate. And I will follow up with the actual chairperson of Early Childhood Committee on Special Education, and I will make sure that I am the liaison and I can follow up directly.
Thank you. So I'll definitely forward that information to you. And our next, Bruce, our U of T representative.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see all of you. And thank you to the entire community for raising the concerns that you did this evening. There were also a lot of congratulations in order tonight as well. Congratulations, Quentin and Lauren. UFT looks forward to your leadership in these two new roles and continuing to collaborate with you to bring great things to District 28. I'd also like to congratulate the 11 schools that Dr. Blake mentioned received arts funding. The arts are so important to our students' education in our district. And also, special congratulations to PS 117, that entire community. What a wonderful day that was when the Today Show was there, and what a great day for District 28. Dr. Blake also mentioned that a UFT Teacher Center was opened in PS 174. This is a professional development center for the educators at that school. And with this center in place, the teachers will receive top-notch professional development, and what that will translate into is going to be success for the students in the school. And we're collaborating, UFT is collaborating with 3 more schools and Dr. Blake's office to open 3 more of these teacher centers this year within our district. So we're very excited about that. And just to conclude, everyone have a happy new year, happy and healthy, and let's finish off the rest of this school year in a great way.
Thank you, Bruce. All right, now council members. We can start going with our reports and updates. I just start going. I just start.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's start with Simone's not here. Bakita.
Oh, no, not at this time.
No problem. Next, council member GK.
I don't have any special report. I wish all of you and the community very happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Council member Lou.
Quick update on the, so last month we discussed the resolution for CEC exam, and finally it was passed in PEP in December meeting. Before the meeting, there was many community came out support the passing of the contract, and there are a lot of gathering for that. I went to one of them in City Hall. It was a really cold day. I have to skip lunch for it. A lot of people came out. A lot of elected officials came out. I mean, there's a lot of elected officials even on the federal level, like Richard Harris, Chris Mong, and even Chuck Schumer came out to give a statement to support the approval of the contract. So what I want to say is this: there's a lot of things, because this is a huge thing for me. It may not, honestly, it may not be a huge thing for everyone. There's things, very personal, you get, I mean, actually, I don't have kids go to a CEC school. I actually convinced my son not going to one of the, because it's not for the faith of heart. I mean, I know it doesn't fit him. It's not like you get in, you hit a jackpot or something, right? But the thing is, we hear all the parents talking, like there's a lot of kids need help, the IEP kids, the ELL kids, my kids used to be in ELL programs. We have a lot of kids need to catch up. We have a lot of kids who want to go to, those special high school. And there's a lot of, broad sense of special high school, not just CEC school. There are Townsend Harris, there are Bard, there are Beacon, they have all kinds of a variety of way to get into it. And they kind of pick, sometimes they kind of pick different type of student, like she said, it's slightly more boys than girls, not a whole lot, slightly more. But in Beacon and the Townsend Harris, there's a lot of girls more than boys. And if you see LaGuardia, there's 70% of girls and 30%, less than 30% of boys. So there are all kinds of different things that fit in different people, right? So the message I want to say is, like all those people like Chuck Schumer kind of guy why they get into a specific issue in New York City education, right? So they sense the issue here. So they don't want to pick fight between communities. It's not like, oh, we want to do this, we can't do that. You want to do this, we have to take away that from some other people who want it. So let's basically understand each other. There are things for everybody, and we were talking about diversity. There's a lot of sense about diversity. The diversity of the schools, type, how they get in, how they select students. there are many things. I mean, again, after all, if you look at the student body in those schools, majority of them are first generation immigrants. Half of them are low income students. So it's not like they're rich kids. They're not private school, right? The rich people, when we talk about rich people, private people, they don't play this game, right? They go to rich suburbans, they go to private schools. Those are poor kids. They're not privileged. So I just want to say, don't demonize like that. Oh, like this kind of a thing for some privileged people. No, it's for our kids, so I mean, for my own community, but it's actually a huge issue. So it really kind of drive people up. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou. Next we have Julie.
I wasn't gonna say anything, and then now after Lou, we disagree on a lot of things, but this is one where I agree with Lou on so many of the different points that Lou made, and I wasn't at last month's meeting, so I do have to just say that I'm glad that seems like we did the right thing in terms of following the law. We did. It was the law, but I'm also a product of poor immigrant background that worked hard to get to Stuyvesant. And now I'm probably the privileged group, right? And I don't know if I'm gonna send my own child to a specialized high school, but I do believe that it is a pathway for children. And until there's a better solution, because I'm also open to getting rid of the test, if there's a better solution. I have not heard of one. So in the absence of that, I think we needed to keep it the way it is. I do agree with Lou on the fact that it has more to do with the lower grades, like the early elementary years. And that's why, Miss O'Benny, I really, that resonates with me, that let's focus on the early ages and not make it something about high school, because by the time child's going into high school, I think it's a different story. So I think, it's let's focus on the early years, the formative years, so that there is more access and more ability for all children in the district to test well. I do think there's a lot of race issues here as well, because it is so true that people say, oh, a lot of Asians are at the specialized high school. Well, if you look at it, Asians is a very large population, and there's a lot of socioeconomically, it's more about socioeconomics than race, honestly, in my opinion. I think it's about giving opportunity to families that are in the lower income immigrant population. So that's my 2 cents, Lou. Again, I wasn't going to say anything, but I realized I wasn't here last month, and so I didn't get to speak up, but thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Tanya?
Sorry, the issue with being remote is you can't get to the mute fast enough. I apologize. Yeah, I wanted to say Happy New Year, Happy Haitian Independence Day to all who celebrated. Congratulations to Clinton and Lauren on their new appointments. Thank you, Venus, for the reminder. I did have written down that I have to go look at District 28 Zoom to see how they do it, to see how they do their meetings, and I'll get back to you. And I know that you want more data. You've been asking for it for a while, so we're going to keep on trying there. I don't have an update. I'm looking forward to us looking over the School Construction Authority projects later this evening, so we can prioritize, the projects that really do need the help. To Nativa's point, on our list is still the project that I think we voted in last year that didn't actually get what it needed. So hopefully tonight we can circle back on that. Thanks.
Thanks, Tanya. Tifa.
It did that on purpose, obviously.
My apologies. They have me doing some athletics today. So Happy New Year, as everyone said. And my report is relatively short. I raised some of the issues um in questions to the SCA. But also there's an issue directed to the district office. Basically, which concerns two of my liaison schools. There is a current proposed merger between PS40 and PS312 that I believe as of November was listed. So it was previously discussed. It was not pursued. In the previous year, the discussion was again raised, and then now it's on pause. However, there were not, the schools don't have a lot of information as to what pause mean. Is this a conversation that is going to be reignited during the school year? Is there a guarantee that the schools will continue to exist as two schools for the 2025-2026 years? I know there are a couple emails that have gone out from the PTA, SLT, et cetera, to the district office that they're anxiously looking for responses to. And, similar to the concerns with SCA, et cetera, part of it is it's an emotional thing for the groups. When you deal with an uncertainty because you don't know where it is going, it affects the way they present in terms of sometimes open houses, orientations or whatnot, because sometimes families don't like to come into a situation that seems uncertain. I have the privilege of having been, as I said, liaison to the two schools involved. They share a building. They have overlapping but distinct cultures in different ways. So it is important, I guess, for them to, one school has very great relationships with some of the existing electeds. One school is in the middle of a magnet grant. Because of limitations in terms of both the sizes and whatnot, one of the schools is always listed as one of the lowest enrolled schools in the district, not because they're not popular, not because they're not having, but because they're actually almost at capacity, but their capacity is at the low end of what's considered a viable school. So there are pros and cons towards this discussion. However, at this point, they feel a bit left out of the conversation. It was first broached to them in a very, we're doing this manner, which they objected to. It was listened to. Now the conversation was reignited and just put on pause. What does pause mean? When can they anticipate to get some kind of a response? And yes, basically, what is the future for JCMS and PS40 as they coexist in the space on Union Hall? As far as the rest of my liaison schools, I have not had that much contact. It's only the second of the year, so we will be following up. Last time I was able to speak to IS8 and that conversation. I know one of the other principals from the campus, Mr. Law, was here tonight. My other school, PS48, I have not visited for this year, but they're 2 years into renaming as a landmark school, et cetera, under its previous principal. They have been one of the schools that has not really gotten much response in recent years to SCA fundings or so forth. They had a beautiful renovations. It's now almost over 10 years ago. And some of the things to sustain the programs in their need those follow-ups. So basically from the district level, most of my concerns this years are how are my schools, my liaison schools, getting those supports, not as many issues from the parent perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Natifa. Next, we have you,
Any
Tam.
response from the district?
Oh, on your comment. Would anyone in the district like to respond? Yes, Dr. Hall.
Thank you so much. I was trying to unmute. So thank you, Natifa, for raising those concerns, and particularly the one around the merger, the potential merger between 40 and 312. And as you said, that merger has been paused, and I totally understand, we totally understand the community's concern around the timeline, right? What does pause mean? How long is the pause? And what are we pausing until, right? So I understand that concern. So what we can say at this time is that there is no plan on the district end in the foreseeable future to restart the plan for the merger. So for the foreseeable future on our end, we don't have a plan to restart the merger at this time, right? So as the community members come to you, because they will, everyone on this call, we know and consider a parent and a community leader. You can inform them that for the foreseeable future, the pause is in effect. And as a district office, we do not have a plan to reignite the merger on our end. So that's where we currently are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. And you, Tal?
All right, thanks. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to do the hand-eye coordination. Sorry, I didn't do a good job of that. So first of all, a happy new year to the community, and we only have to spend 2 days. I'm already, feel exhausted, tired, but also very excited. And a big shout out and congratulations to Quentin and Lauren. We're counting on you, and we're going to fully support you, and we are a community. We're going to work together. So tonight didn't have a lot to report. Mostly over the holiday weekend. I wish every day had a good weekend. Once a good break and wonderful holiday. One thing I wanted to kind of PSA kind of announcements that there's like a flu A and the COVID is going like pretty rampant in the some of the schools. So be careful with your little ones, and if you still haven't got your flu shot, hopefully you get your flu shot early and avoid all the misery when it's early enough. Uh, uh, Based on tonight, I was really inspired by Charlene, and she bring her daughter here, and that basically connects the point that Julie was making earlier. And we shouldn't start competing academically or just to cross a narrow bridge at high school stage. We should start supporting our kids early, and especially, I recently heard a quote that really struck me was talented kids they often require special needs. So let's not waste talents. We know different people have different talents. Some maybe excel in sports, in academics, so some are good at the crafts, arts, but let's provide them a pathway when they have the special needs, when we can support them, and let's do this as a community, and let's not narrow our attention to just one thing and one test and one school report. So let's as a community, we can broaden our attention and our focus to help each other and help our kids, and they deserve it. And yeah, so hopefully all the kids get what they need to grow and to thrive in their life. And yeah, that's my quick comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tal. All right, I do have a report, and I'm not gonna front. This morning I was scared. I was worried because with the whole break, I was just worried that the school bus for my children in D75 was just not gonna show up. And I was just at the edge of my seat. I woke up extra early, got them dressed because I was like, I'm gonna have to take them to school before work because I don't want to hear no excuses and be waiting on hold for 77 people because this bus didn't come. That bus showed up on time and ready, and I was so I was so happy because I did not want to take my kids to school, and it was just phenomenal. That I want to just commend the bus service for their for my children at the schools that they go to, because this is maybe not citywide, the bus service has been very transparent with us and they've been like having great communication. When they take days off, they call me, they text me, there's a new bus driver, new matron. And I really love the communication and the experience that I'm having this year. And it's been like with that communication, we've had like little to no hiccups throughout the year that weren't expected. So I just want to give that shout out. You know, when they start messing up, I will shout them out. But for now, we've been great, and I hope that keeps up for the rest of the year. Another thing, I'm a liaison for Queens Gateway, and I did a presentation at their PTA meeting just to explain what the CEC is because they weren't really aware of how me being their liaison, what I can do for them, what the CEC is, and what my position is for them. So I went and I did a presentation at their PTA meeting, and that was very fulfilling, answered questions, updated them about the class size, because they're a secondary school, so they go from 6 to 12. And also, I'm on President's Council for high schools. So it kind of, as liaison and being on President's Council, I was actually at their meeting. We put together a financial aid workshop on Saturday after hours. I was still working, but it went really well. If you're on LinkedIn, York College did a big post just congratulating Queens High School's President's Council, which I work with Dr. Van Ness and Dr. Blake because of the school that I'm liaison, being from 6 to 8, Dr. Blake, and 6 to 12 with Dr. Van Ness. But for the most part, secondary schools go to Van Ness. So I'm also currently working with Dr. Van Ness to get a high school student senior to apply for the vacant position on our CEC. It's never been filled before and it has to be Oh, it has been filled?
Yes.
Since I've been here in my 1 year. It's been filled? Oh, thank you. Oh, see, you know what? I stand corrected. It has been filled. I just haven't heard about it until now. So in the meantime, we're looking forward to that vacant position being fulfilled. And I'm working with Dr. Van Ness, great doctor, and look forward to possibly having that student coming on board this year, if not next year. And other than that, yeah, I'm really proud of the schools that submitted their SCA app and their class size app. Thank you for just leading the way, and hopefully we can get you guys set up. That's my report. And before I go, I do know the community board 6. You had raised your hand. Did you want to say something? Are you still here? She left. You left. Okay, no problem. All right. For the Spanish interpreter, do you have any questions that came to you?
¿Hay pregunta en la línea de español? There are no questions in the Spanish line.
Thank you. And we have our FACE representative, Tamika. Oh, my. Hold on. I'm sorry.
And Simone. Oh.
No, Simone's not. So I would like to just second back and apologize, but our first vice president, Lauren Clavin, did not get to give her update, and that is my deepest apology. First vice president, we'll be doing a lot of work together. But please give us your report.
So my school report will be discussed when we talk about the capital projects, but I just have a general comment. This is the first time that I'm on this side of this process with the capital projects, and it's as disheartening as it has been all the other years I've been sitting in the audience listening. And just my general comment is that in sifting through these responses from principals and seeing the level of disrepair and knowing that this has been happening over years, that schools don't have adequate bathrooms, that they don't have gym spaces, not even at all. Forget about that need to be repaired. I mean, if we go out into the community, we can see the state of some of our playgrounds that our kids are expected, and how that makes our children feel, how that makes families feel. All these things matter, not just the putting aside the basic safety of it, but just the feeling that you get walking into a building when the auditorium hasn't been repaired for 100 years, the cafeteria, the we're talking about water fountains and bathroom facilities. Our kids deserve so much better. And I have to say, I understand. I want to extend grace to our representative that's here. I don't know if you're still on the call. I will extend grace. I understand that it's intimidating to be to have questions directed at you and maybe to hear comments that you don't want to hear. And you must listen because you are hearing it from the mouths of people who are living it. And to say that there is no inequity going on here, I don't really know how to respond to that. You must listen. You must take into account what people have shared about their lived experiences. This matters, and it needs to be taken with more seriousness and more respect. So, and I really want to thank each and every school administrator who took the time to fill out this form. And I really thought, I have been thinking about the schools who chose not to respond. I can't say why, but I think that's meaningful and that's something that we need to think about. And it could have something to do with the fact that this process, some kids will move through the school and not see these improvements that have needed to be made in 6 years that they spend their young lives there. So I hope we can do better. And that, you know, my commitment is to trying to do better while I'm here. And that is what I have to say. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What? You have one thing to say? Can you make it 20 seconds? Okay, 20 seconds? All right. Go ahead.
There you go.
Okay, good. Just wanted to amplify one thing. My kids are in third grade, so all this specialized, non-specialized high school, all this is very removed for me personally. But I know personally, I interview young men and women that apply to MIT. I just finished early action, 20 of them. And I do about 50, 60 every year. And I interview a fair chunk of young men and women from these specialized schools, whether it's York or Stuyvesant and all that. I don't know the complete data about, I think the data on lack of representation of minorities in the school is stark and evident. I mean, empirics are too hard to ignore. But it is also a fact out of my personal experience, I don't know if that data exists, of my interviews, they're all economically backward, or removed. And I can tell you, I'm friends with a fellow who is now a young man from China, and his parents are migrant laborers. He doesn't see them. He's been living alone or with a nephew, niece since the age of 7. He goes to MIT, and I just exchanged email, text message with him. So I think these special schools have lots of young men and women from very marginalized families, but they don't capture the racial. It's an important one. I don't know what the solution is. Holding this contract may not have been, but I did want to. That's why I supported the resolution last week. But on a more immediate note, I want to congratulate Quentin, which I didn't get to, and Lauren on their appointment for the next 6 months. Best wishes to all of us. Thank you. Good night. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, we have our FACE representative, Tamika. Give a few words. Unmute you.
Yeah. Good evening. Can you guys hear me? Good evening, District 28. I just, on behalf of FACE, Family and Community Engagement, I'd like to congratulate Quentin and Lauren on your new roles. I would like to wish everyone a healthy and happy new year. We continue to look forward to working with you. We continue to look forward to being thought partners in this work in the district. So thank you.
Thank you, and make sure we didn't get any more elected officials. All right, before we end our meeting, I just want to let everybody know January is National Glaucoma Awareness Month. So if you have time to go check your eyes, glaucoma, check your eyes out. And it's also Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. So it's something that's been spiking, and it's something we all just want to take note of. It's also Thyroid Awareness Month. Right? There's some good stuff this month, but this is what we're paying attention to. But also National Blood Donation Month. So if you have extra blood and you want to give up some, feel free at your nearest donation center. And just want to again welcome back to school, staff, teachers, families, and it is 9:16, and we are going to end our calendar business meeting. Thank you.
So, you know, they write and follow me, guys, please.
Right, members, President Quentin Messerton,
Here.
First Vice President Lauren Clavin, Second Vice President Utah Chen,
Here.
Recording Secretary Natifa Lewis, here. Treasurer Tanya Went.
Here.
Member Julissa.
Here.
Member Luzelle.
Here.
Member GK Kalyanara. Where's GK? Member Paquito Williams.
Here.
Who am I missing? Sorry.
Lou.
Online.
Member Narun Swapner, absent. Member Simone Dunbar had to leave.
Lauren.
I think that's it. Quentin?
Lauren.
All right. It's only 9:27, and I still think we could get out of here. So we have a quick. Okay, maybe we'll. All right. So that's the goal. Tonight we have a few things on our agenda. Right now, I want to discuss the absentee forms for last meeting. We have Narun, who was virtual last meeting. I have want to make a motion to approve her absence.
What was the
Reason? Work. So she went virtual. So she attended virtual. Was that a second?
second? Oh, well,
Yeah. Yes. Does anyone oppose Narun's absence? Virtual?
Members?
Nope.
No.
All right. All right, next, Julie was traveling. She had a last minute business emergency. And she wasn't able to attend last meeting.
Did I not send the form?
No.
I can't remember.
You did send the form. I was, but is
Crazy. So this was also work?
This was also work. So I approve this absence. Is there anyone who does not?
No.
Okay. And Simone was virtual last meeting. She's not here right now, but she had virtual, I believe it was childcare. I approve this absence. Is there anyone who opposes? Okay, thank you. And that was our only absentee forms. And I'll be signing that. And next, adopting council meeting minutes.
Cannot hear you, Quentin.
Oh, we're just reviewing the minutes. Has everyone reviewed the minutes? Is there everybody approves?
Make a motion.
Making a motion to approve the minutes.
I second that.
All right, you second. Thank you. And now, let's go. We could all pull it up on our computer screens. The capital plan request forms that we've all looked at and made our votes, hopefully by now. Does anyone want to pull it up on their screen? Tanya, because you're really good with the tech.
Yeah, I can pull it up. Okay. Oh, kind of messy. Can you guys see this okay? It's kind of small, right?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I only have one screen, so screen and screen. So just for complete transparency, there's a little echo. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's an echo every time you guys speak. Okay, sorry. So there was all of the automated, forms came in, the date stamped, et cetera here. And so if an individual, if a principal, for example, this first principal on the list, he put, learning center upgrade, but then he also said, hey, my second choice is a gym. So then what I would do on this section is, well, now they're all out of order, but I would have put them separately because they're in different categories. So just for transparency, that's kind of what I did, but everything should be now included here. I know some of the voting did come in very last minute up to this afternoon, but all of this should be reflected on the voting form. So. No. I think that it appears as if everyone has voted except Naroon and Pakita. I can't hear you guys. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I don't know if you guys are all just waiting for me to say more or you're speaking amongst yourselves. Sorry.
Hold on.
Spanish interpreters. I just wanted to let you guys know that you guys are dismissed. You guys do not need to stay here for this part. Thank you for working with us tonight, and we look forward to working with you again.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you for your time.
Should I check if I'm asked for
Since we have like Tanya, we're gonna have to really work on the speaker situation because when we turn her down, she can't hear us, and then vice versa.
Just need to keep the rest of our, two people had their speakers on.
Oh, okay.
So mute not just your microphone, but your speaker. Make sure that the little speaker icon has an X on it.
Like your volume.
Okay, cool.
And then it would be fine to have the,
Okay, so Pakita, she didn't vote, but what you didn't get to hear, Tanya, was she's just gonna go with majority.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attempt to share again. And I know everyone keeps refiltering, I think, for themselves for the highest thing, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and try this again. I'm going to select them all. We're going to filter by, let's see, I want all. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, now let's try this again. Okay, here we are. Okay. So I don't know if we just want to jump in and say, hey, these are the ones that got the top votes, and we're just going to go ahead. Natifa, keep me honest. How many do we get to choose? I feel like it's the top 5. Got 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 clear.
The top 5 are the ones that we submit at the top of our application. And then we can list all the others in whatever order we choose below. But we know those are the 5 that SCA will consider first from us.
Okay, thank you for the reminder. So right now we have got 3 clear winners. We've got
The
projects
top
of the 5 and then two
ones
fours.
that goes into their specific form. Which are
Yeah, so the top of the list right now.
Submitted the final form. So I remember it's exactly what Natifa said. You put the 5 that as a group, we decide those are the 5. But below, there's another opportunity to just list the rest in our order.
Below
from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Of like importance, in case they do look past the 5.
Dorinda, can you just resend the email? Is she on still?
No, she's on Zoom.
Yeah, it's not filtering quickly on my email. I keep pulling up just the working form, not the final submission piece. If she pulls that up, Julie, you mind sharing it again, or do you
Last year's?
Not last year's, but the one for this year, this year's version of last year's one.
Yeah, let me try to find it. Yeah, I don't have this.
I was just filtering, she just put it in, Utah put it in the chat.
Okay.
All right, so can you have that, I guess, open on yours, because we're looking at Tanya sharing hers, or?
Yeah, Tanya's sharing hers. And
Yeah.
you could just fill it out.
Okay. All right, so Julie, based on our discussion, can you fill it out, and then we'll reshare and just review?
After today's meeting?
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, as we go through. So we're identifying the top 5 that we have, or what? The top 5, I believe the top one was 140.
Yep.
Then 310,
Yes.
oh my goodness. Why
And
did I?
then the 40 and.
I
40
see what
plus
Tanya was
320.
saying. It's Tanya was saying because everybody keeps refiltering it. So every time you look at it, the form looks different.
Right.
312 and
Plus
40.
40, yeah.
Mhm.
Which I lost, which are the other two top that had the top scores.
Yeah.
There were a
That
couple
is it. Those are the top
How
three.
many
Those are
ended
the
up 3 votes?
Four.
3. We've got 1,
Okay, so that's
2,
the issues
3,
that we just need to
4,
talk about the
5.
ones that got 3 votes and determine
Yes.
2 of them, right? There's only 2 spots now left.
Exactly.
Um,
I'm prepared to advocate hard for one, unless anybody has anything they want to say first.
Which one?
86. They have no gym. And they do have space in the school that they've identified that they can turn into a gym. Kids are hardly able to have recess outside. They have a tiny little patio area outside the building that, maybe 1 or 2 classes can use. And they're doing, that's if, weather permits, right? But otherwise, they're doing recess in their classrooms. And this is a school with just under 700 kids.
I wanted to advocate again for 312 because that was the one that was falsely attributed last year.
Right.
That was listed as approved. But I think it was
Item.
yes.
Phone system. Wait, sorry, so 312 was one of the ones we submitted last year and approved, yet they didn't.
Because it was attributed to a D24 school. There was a mistake with the thing in the final form submission. So they're listed with one of the 4s, but that is a overall buildings thing because they have a high population of D75 students and so forth. Well, they don't have a separate D75 program, but they do have a number of students in with needs, but they're not an accessible school. And so they've been trying to get like an elevator. There's no school at all with five floors, and the students are at the top. So that was the joint application, because that would be an elevator to serve both schools. But the other one that I said that I advocated for was, basically here's a gift, I take it back, that happened from last year. My one thing is I
So
wish
hard.
it shouldn't have been.
The MS 217 is one of my schools, and I said this last year, they have this separate building that the kids have to walk to. In inclement weather, I think it's just dangerous that they have to walk out to that temporary building. I thought the temporary building was in good shape, so I was ready to say that it's not as priority, and then to see that there's mold and it's not in a good situation. I just have to also advocate that that's also pretty important. But I agree that your 2
Wasn't
schools
there
also.
something mentioned related to that building last year when they wanted to
There was no
replace it?
solution because it's sitting on Parks,
Yeah.
the New York City Parks grounds. So I think Principal Burns he didn't have another plan for that, as far as I know. So I think that he's back again for the SCA.
Because I think that was one of something related to the whole parks thing, and whatever limitations were affected the likelihood of it being approved or something.
Right, and that's why I think this year's application is a little different. I think now they're suggesting building it separate, entirely separate building instead of, and, kind of getting that building connected to the sense. Their temporary structure, I think at first they were suggesting connecting it to the main building.
Wait, this is 217, right?
Yeah, now I think,
Hold on, I can't.
as I read it, he's now saying, build a separate new mini building. Because
So-
that one's not in good state and it's not on the property, the school property grounds.
So the one thing I would say is, again, with new construction, like they mentioned, that goes out multiple years. I don't think they're approving any new construction plans because the ones that are already approved are not starting before a couple years, especially for annex, if it's not if it's not a structure that's already in there and capacity wise, what is the school overpopulated?
He's also saying this would address the class size at the same
Yeah,
time.
they're
because
going with overpopulation before they're gonna go with new class size, at least from like the SCA funding. So I'm saying it's a need, but it's a tricky one
I know.
that
Can we put that right below the 5,
I think we could put it, yeah,
like
but
higher up,
Yeah.
than last year? I remember last year was like 8, 9, 10 or something like
Right.
that.
yeah, I think it makes sense to put high, but I really don't think it would get, I mean, based on like because I remember the discussions came up about it last year, and it was those things that it's not, they're not gonna build new construction because it's on parkland. There were like there were a few issues that even, it's those frustrating things that don't make sense,
Yeah, I don't know.
but. Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry, I can't raise my hand or see anybody, but I think for this one also, I think I did vote for it.
Saying,
but-
86 and 312 are the ones that would get the 4th and 5th of the
And then
5.
you wanna put 217?
You know, that, is it, that, is it simply a clerical error, or did they not mean to approve this particular project? Do you know? Do you know?
They don't know.
They don't know.
So apparently they had it approved, they went to the wrong school, and then the school's like, no, we don't need this, and they're like, oh, it's done. So somewhere in there, there's a lost in translation. Yeah.
Concerned with they were gonna say that this isn't something they can do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so in the email, they said they could resubmit. Cause we were asking, can it be, adjusted or whatnot,
Yeah.
and they said we can't do anything for the CSI, but.
We need to stay on top of this in particular. I mean, I would say, yes, make that whatever, that's our choices. They tell them, yes, it's happening, and then it's not doing it.
That is a question. This is new, this is for this year, but what happened, what was done or approved last year?
This project was submitted last year. It was listed as approved in the responses we got from SCA. But when you looked at the building site, the school number was correct. The building's location was incorrectly attributed to District 24. And when SCA went out to, I guess, their contract people, because they approved the contracts, but then they bid it out to to other subcontractors. And when the subcontractors went out to the wrong building, they didn't need what was approved for this building. And a market project as.
So what did they do with that money?
Well, it's one pool, so.
So what I mean, some money was allocated to this.
I see. So Peter, you finished with your thought?
No, no, because okay.
So it's kind of like the project gets approved.
Yeah.
But no, I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no, to his question, he was saying like what happened with the money.
Yeah.
So the money is not usually like paid out until the work actually done. But when they went, there was to the wrong place. There was no work to be done at the place, so no money got paid out.
You got
But
paid out. But let me shoot, because I'm thinking about the 196, PS 196. And it's some capital improvement from, I guess, way back then.
Turn on your mic.
Pardon?
Turn on your mic, so they can hear, so Tanya can hear you.
You asking too much, my girl's not here. I'm just, well, I'll mimic it, sign language, but no. What happens when when something is approved and it's not done? Like last year and year before last, what happens? Like,
Well,
we're moving on to something new like this?
It's a 5-year plan. So even if even if the project is approved this year, it really doesn't usually get implemented for a couple years, and the budget keeps like being adjusted or so forth. So it's one long continuous, like they get their funding from the state or whatever ways or so forth. So it's not like our budget, for example, that you have 25,000 for the year and then 25,000 for next year or whatever it is.
Right.
It's they get funded based on what ends up being justified as one long project, and sometimes like they give an estimate that it's going to take 5 years, then they realize they need more work, it's gonna take 7 years. So it's a constantly adjusted budget as part of the overall education.
Go and check, did the body ever go back and check, like the school?
Did they
5
get
years
it?
ago said they needed A, B, C, and D.
It's
Do we ever
usually,
go and say what?
it's included in what the report that we got would show, it shows when the project starts and it completed. So it's like a rolling thing. You're gonna see some projects that started in 2021 and are scheduled to be completed in 2026. If for some reason it's not completed in 2026, by the time we're in like going into the 2026 year, you're gonna see like the extension for that project to 2027 or whatever it is. So that's why it's kind of like this weird.
So
It's a long summer.
On that note, what Kato was
Yeah.
asking, I just pulled up last year's, 310 is what we submitted as one of the 5.
And it got
it's the
approved.
exact same request this year, but
310 did not get funded.
Oh, so just because we
312.
submit the 5.
Yeah.
I
Three
see.
three
I
twelve
thought-
was the one that, so.
Okay, thank
So-
you.
310 is Queens Collegiate, 312 is Jamaica Children's.
So out of the 5 we submitted last year, 312 was one of the ones that got submitted, but then they said that there was a clerical error.
Yeah.
How about 40? Did they get the AC? Did
No.
40 get chosen, 72?
No.
Oh, none of them.
No, I think this 72, I think 72 got something approved, but it's not yet started.
Okay.
From last
That's
year.
That's what you're saying right now.
Yeah, like,
So, but right now, are we just going through the
and
stuff,
121.
the stuff that has 3? And we're just trying to kind of pick which out of the 3
Exactly.
make the 5?
We've all agreed on the
5 and 4.
So we need to kind of, so some of us got to switch our votes to kind of see which ones out of these orange we're gonna approve tonight. Correct?
We have 3 approved?
No, it's like these all have like a tie, so we kind of gotta like.
We have 3.
Yeah, we do have 3. We have Q140, Q40, Q312.
Yeah, we agree.
Sorry, Q140, Q312 are
Yeah,
together.
those are
So
we're done.
we need to identify 2 more.
Yes, exactly. The rest.
We have 4 that are kind of tied.
I,
Yeah.
So we're looking at
I,
14.
they're too small for me to read.
Okay, so
Can we maximize it?
Huh?
Can we maximize it?
I can work for spreadsheet myself.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see where is it.
So it's MS 217 that has the temporary building. It's
Yeah.
86.
That is you're tapping that.
Yeah, and then 80.
We can't hear you guys, sorry.
Yeah, I can't hear you anymore either.
We can't hear you guys, sorry. Can you, someone unmute or put up the speaker? We cannot hear you guys. If you can unmute or put up the speaker.
Can't hear you guys. Can't hear you. They're all ignoring us.
One vote.
Okay, so out of the, I'm just turned on. Out of the four, forget the pipe. Out of the three you describe, we need to pick two?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should say like the gym, they don't have a gym at all, right?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So I think like, so maybe we,
So
we have that, and then we have to, and then choose the 86.
86, yes.
Gym. But how expensive is
Tanya,
gym?
when you
That's
want
not
to
up for
talk,
good-
you just raise your hand,
I
okay? Because they're not gonna know you're talking.
think they have 5 million.
You just
to
raise
do
your
one
hand if you
school.
want to
Can they
talk.
not hear me
That
either?
there's no upper limit.
Oh, just
I
raise
know,
your hand.
That's
But I can if I'm sharing as well.
You're not sharing anymore.
Now they're on muted again. It's just you and me today.
We can hear you, Tanya.
You can hear me? Okay, why don't we all just take like 15, 20 seconds to state our points, and then we can kind of move on. I feel like I'm not there. I can't see what everyone's speaking about. I think we have to rank. We've got, okay, let's look at it. We need to do, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Quentin, are you asking everybody to just go in right now and pick of those 5, which are their top 3? Is everyone talking amongst themselves to figure that out?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second, 1 second. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Okay, you have 3 votes. Everybody, you have 3 votes, right? I can maintain your votes, but here are the projects. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to pick 3 out of these 5. So if everybody goes in now and votes 3 times for your name, then we can find out which ones win. Is that okay? Or is that too complicated? Should we just revote on these, only these 5?
So turn her down, Tanya.
So we have 140.
We have agreed with
Yep.
86.
86, yes.
And
Wait,
3.
wait. You guys have all decided amongst yourselves?
140 is one that got 5 votes.
Bathrooms.
I think Tanya needs to re-explain. She's not asking that. Put up the speaker and have her re-explain, Quentin. Put up the
You
speaker.
guys
She's
have
gonna
all decided.
she's gonna restate what she said, and then you guys have to answer in 2 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
What I was just saying is that maybe you guys have already decided amongst yourselves, but I just copied and pasted it here. I've copied and pasted and just sorted on the 5 projects we have here. And if everybody just goes in and everybody votes for their 3, then we'd be done. But it sounds like you guys maybe all decided it already. Am I wrong? You guys already figured it out there?
just two.
Yeah, Tanya, sorry. I think we already did what you want us to do in that spreadsheet. We could do it. I guess we picked the 86 and 312.
You can put a yes against my name.
But if you want to do a formal.
Wait. You did, okay, but you did 86. That's fine. No, that's fine. But 86. Okay, we're all talking at the same time. We're not going to get through this, guys. So you want 86, fine. Okay, I think a lot of us voted for that. They've got some things in the works, but okay. What other ones did you guys say besides 86? Because we need 2 more from this list.
Okay. So turn Tanya down. All right,
So
you can hear me?
Based on everything, we agreed based on what was there that 140 is number 1. It had the most votes.
Right.
Yeah, Tanya's moved on.
She's moved on. She knows what's number 1.
310, 3, and then 312 and 40. And then 86
And 312.
will be 4th and 312 fifth. And then we list the others. Julie requested next in line to put 217 at the top of the list, and then we can sort the rest.
Now go back to Tanya.
217 is going to be number 6?
6.
Okay, I had one question about 217. I actually did vote for it. I think it's a great idea. I think that they should get their space because the building, the temporary, spot is over 22 years old. But I also, I know that this is not due tomorrow, but again, the class size law stuff, I didn't know if that comes out of another bucket or it has to be the same bucket. Or if it doesn't matter, if we think like it doesn't matter if it's going to be out of a class size law money or this money, or do we know? Do we have any visibility into that?
Yes, different money.
It's, I mean, a lot of it is going to overlap, but like I think part of the discussion we were saying in here is as far as CA go, I think they have pretty much approved the new constructions that they're going to have for the next few years. So as with class size law, they're first looking at repurposing spaces that's already existing versus the new construction. So that's one of the reasons that even though it's important, it's kind of pushed down a little bit on the list.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think small class size is different
Yeah.
funding time.
Different. There's going to be different funds for that. Like that's why they had that, that December 20th set of funds and all of those other. There's going to be additional things that are coming through, and then we also have to see what's going to happen as far as with administration changes and so forth. But yeah, new construction is not going to be approved as a CA project just for to meet class size learning. Not for this funding period.
Okay. And then we have 55 and 82. We have to rank 7 and 8.
It's done.
Okay.
What time?
Right.
No, I think we're pretty much through. Yeah. We're pretty much done.
Yeah.
So, wait, Tanya.
You said we're done? We're
We're
finished?
not done. The whole
Yeah.
form needs to.
We're closer to that side of being done. But what was your question?
I assumed we had to go through the whole entire thing, but you just said we're done. So maybe I don't know exactly what's happening in the room. So you tell me.
We're
not done. We're not done. It just seems like we're coming up with the idea of the schools that we want to move forward with. Because we need 5 schools. We have 140, 310, 312, and 40, 86, and 312. And then we were saying that the next runners up were 217.
So yeah, I have 217.
Yes.
I would suggest listing the others that are 3.
Just Q82 and 255.
Right. And then the ones that have 2, the ones that have 1, and then the ones that didn't have the top 5 votes at the bottom. So we submit everything at the bottom of our list.
No, sorry. Last year we submitted just 10. I don't know why. The form has more spaces. But last year,
We submitted our top 5 and then we submitted the next top.
just extra 5. Yeah, that's what we decided last year. That doesn't mean we have to do that. Tanya, can you hear me?
Tanya?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So last year we submitted only 10. Do you remember why we didn't do more? And okay. So are we doing 10 this year? Or do you want me to list everything?
Just list it. Give everyone the courtesy. Already.
No, so that's what I was saying. Let's just now continue down in terms of the votes that they got. So we list those that have 3, we list those that have 2, we list those that have 1, and then we list any that didn't have
that
both.
might be 10. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
during the set, we always just put the rest under. So we just put our top and just go rank down.
Okay. So I think where we're at is, and hopefully Tanya is on the same page as us, we've gotten up to 8. Because if you take the votes, the ones that have 5 votes, 4 votes, and 3 votes, that'll take 8 spaces.
So then now go to those that have 2.
Yeah, now we're on the 2s, Tanya, because
Okay, but I think
Wait, let's
7 and
pause.
8. You guys
she's still commenting it.
So I'm happy to help, but I think you guys are talking amongst yourselves, but you're asking me to put the ranks in. So, okay, I know we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3. Now we've got 3 number 3s without a 7 or an 8. what did you guys decide? Which is 7, which is 8, or do we not care?
Yeah, we decided. So number 6 is 217. Number 7.
Yes, I have that. Oh, I'm sorry. 217 is 6, correct. What's number 7?
I think didn't we say 82 and then the bar that's at the top of the gym? We were just saying like it's a pipe.
Sure.
And the comment that they don't tend to fund the smaller projects. I don't know if that's true, but just
No, it has to be a certain amount. If they put it on there, hopefully they have spec'd it out that it falls within the whatever the minimum that is, but yeah.
So that was, you just mentioned 7 and 8 just now, right?
yeah, but I don't know. We didn't necessarily all agree, but is it Q82 is the 7th and then Q55 is the 8th?
So the thing is, outside of the first
Yeah,
5
meters.
like it's the only distance they get to those, so the ranking is not necessarily as important, right? But just, so I think like we can just list the ones that we have 2, list the ones that we have 1, list everything.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think it's going to material beyond the top.
So Tanya, after 8, I think we're saying it becomes less important after that. She typed 8. Yeah, all those.
I can't hear you guys anymore if you're speaking.
I can't hear.
Tanya, I think they want you to speak.
What do we need to do next? And is someone on your side filling out the form? Julie, you're filling out, you're kind of cutting and pasting in this stuff into the form?
That's what I did last year. Do you want me to do it again?
Oh, that's what we done. Yeah. You got this.
Or Tanya, do you want to do it?
You can go ahead. It's okay. I'm just sitting on here to rank them.
Yeah,
so gotta pull it up
I
to
don't
rank
care
it.
either. I could do it because I
Okay.
did it last year.
Okay.
Okay. I just will take the 5, put them in the spot where there's 5. I don't think the ranking of the 5 matter.
Yes.
And then below the 5.
Okay.
I'll
The
put
ranking
the
of
rest.
the 5, I think the ranking of the 5 matters.
Oh, the ranking of the 5 do, like which
Yeah.
goes 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
So
So
this was the where
so
we had
we'll do Q for 140. Q 310. And then the Q40 plus 312, Q86 and Q312. Those will be our 5 in that order.
yeah,
And then below that will be Q217, Q82, Q55. And then after that, I'll just take the ones that have 2 votes from this group and not care about the order of those. And then we'll do the ones that got 1 vote and then the zeros. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tanya. I feel like we did this last year. You got us to this point, then I'll just send the form to a group for everyone to review. And then I think the will send it ultimately.
That's what she left.
I just sent it to the group and then in an email. You all have, I think you all have it.
yeah. All right. So yeah, and so this time let's just make sure we once we have everything in the form, let's just review it and make sure from our side we see. Take a screenshot everything of what exactly is going to them. So you don't have any discrepancies. They claim that they have fixed the form so we can't have discrepancies, but
So Tanya, why don't you and I'll chat with you. To get this to the
Yeah, and I've got
finish line.
them ranked. I put the ranking on the last column, right? So it's there.
I can't
What
hear
I was sharing. Did you see?
somebody still has their speaker.
Go ahead, Tanya, you can speak. I think they put you up now.
Okay. Okay, the ranking is right in the sheet. It's right here at the end. So the very last column, it's got the rank, number 1, number 2, number, etc. Yeah, I think you had mentioned 310 before the other one, so I flipped those two, but I don't, yeah. But the ranking is right here at the edge. And the rest I did not rank because we don't, it doesn't seem like it matters after 8. And I can't hear anybody again.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, no. So you're gonna handle this tonight?
Yeah, and then I'll email the whole group once Tanya and I wanted to make sure I'm doing what she's thinking, and then I'll get the final form to you all to review for any errors. Just like last year.
Thank you.
On January 9th, I sent it to you all.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the lead on that. All right, and is there any other business that anybody wants to discuss?
No.
Nope. All right. Our next meeting is February 6th. We did this. We're getting out of here. 10:10 is our time, and meeting adjourned.
Second.
Second. Thank you.
Thank you, President.
All
right, so just recapping for the recording.
I believe so.
Yes.
We have
No,
chosen-
Nativa.
Yeah, you wanna
Nativa.
take a picture of it or something?
not necessarily a picture of it.
Hold on. Take off your
So from the SCA rankings, we decided that our top 5 are going to be
I
PS
paused the recording,
140,
everything recorded. I paused it
PS
after you
310.
adjourned. It's okay. You don't have to put the